listen with every breath. Someone who'll help me see things in a different light. All the things I detest, I will almost like. I don't want to be tied to anyone's strings. I'm carefully trying to steer clear of those things. But when I'm asleep, I want somebody who will put their arms around and kiss me tenderly. No, things like this make me sick. In a case like this, I'll get away with it.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ, Tuskegee, Auburn. Since 1995, Alabama's sports talk leader, Tiger Communications, proudly presents Sports Call. It's time to join our Sports Call crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
So we will talk to him. 4 o'clock today, Zach Blackerby, the host of the Locked On Auburn podcast, will join us and talk all things Auburn. Of course, 4:30 today, joined by Champ Anthony, Auburn defensive back, able to chat with him earlier today. And the interviews go on. At 5 o'clock, Chase Daniel will join us, the former Missouri quarterback, now of the SEC Network. And at 5:15 today, we will play some press conference audio from Auburn head football coach Alex Golish as he took to the podium in multiple places today. We'll play you the non-national TV part of it on the electronic media side of it at 5:15 today. Again, going to be tough to get phone calls in. We'll do our best to get to a few short ones today. But again, it'll have to be at particular times due to all of our interviews. So, again, we'll try to get to those as we go through the program. But, again, we got a lot of great guests for you here today, so we want you to enjoy all of those guys. But, again, we are here on Radio Row, gentlemen. Tom Peavy and Brooks Childress joining me. Tom Peavy, how are you doing today?
I'm great. It's been a busy day today, and early start to the day for all of us. Normally an early start to the day for all of you guys anyway, but I made sure that I was here early to get the Auburn guys and see all of them and see all of our Auburn SID folks that we're familiar with. And, it's been a long day, but a very productive day and a fun day. And all of these media day days are very enjoyable. I mean, it's a lot of work. It is a grind. It is an absolute grind, but I mean, it's always enjoyable to be here, and it's always here. It's nice and enjoyable to be able to go and look out the windows, and you got the waterfront and the boats, and if you want to go outside and enjoy the breeze going through the palm trees, it's all right. So
yes, it is.
Not a bad setting here.
Oh, absolutely. Brooks Childress, how are you doing today?
Hey, I am fantastic. Do y'all remember early on in the World Cup, they were it was in Dallas, and a Dallas TV station was interviewing a fan from Japan, and the Japanese fan was like, I don't know much English, but I am excited, and screamed it. That's how I feel. I'm very excited. Running on fumes is an understatement. We have had a lot of early mornings here, getting great content for the folks back home in Auburn to enjoy throughout this week. And it's been great. Food has been fantastic. We've had a great time down here, but of course it is always a lot of work, and it is a fantastic time. I haven't been on since last Friday, so my first time here at SEC Media Days, although you've heard my voice on several interviews throughout the week so far. Had a great weekend. World Cup final on Sunday was fantastic, although visually seeing it live was a bit of a struggle with traveling down and everything, but was able to take it in via listening and partially watching at different points, so that was fun. And the Atlanta Braves getting back on the winning ways as they've now won 2 in a row, going for a third tonight against the Padres over on our sister station, AM 1230 WAUD. And, of course, today, Auburn Day. So very busy. It's been very busy around the area, or around the media digital drive and media days just in general, because it's media days, but especially our neck of the woods, because we got several Alabama-based stations around us, and then it's also Georgia Day today. So we've got Georgia's group right next to us. So it's been quite a busy afternoon, morning, all day right on our corner of Digital Drive. So it's a great time to be here, and can't wait for folks to hear all the great interviews that we've got for them.
Yeah, again, we do have so many interviews, so many that are also not going to be able to air today. I mean, this is, I believe we've conducted 8 interviews just before the show, and that does not include the John McDade interview that will happen in just a few short minutes. So, again, we're rolling out the content all week long. As I mentioned, one of the interviews that we'll play today was done yesterday with Chase Daniels. So, again, we're trying to catch up as we get through so many of these interviews, and it's always good to do them early in the week, too, to make sure people are here and that sort of thing. But we're scheduled out to do even more interviews tomorrow and Thursday, so we continue on getting all that great content for you. Speaking of the content side of it, again, we are broadcasting live on our Facebook page, SportsCall Auburn, and on YouTube, SportsCall Auburn. Again, another big shout-out to Jared Dillard for helping us with that great setup. We've got some lights, cameras, and some action here on this Tuesday edition of Sports Call, so you can join us visually there on the Facebook, Sports Call Auburn, and on YouTube at Sports Call Auburn. And, of course, your traditional ways to listen on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, the Tiger Communications app, and the Sports Call podcast. And all this is being made possible by great sponsors supporting us throughout this week, including Miller Lite, United Auto Collision, Auburn Repro Graphics, Fairway Auto Brokers, and Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Again, as Brooks mentioned, it was Auburn Day today, and so we will have a lot of coverage of that, again, including our sit-down with Champ Anthony. That'll play in the middle portion of today's show, and the press conference with Alex Golish a little bit earlier today. That'll play in the 5 o'clock hour. But so much to get to in this 3-hour edition of the program. There are a lot of days in the summer. 3 hours feels like a long show. That is not the case really at all this week, and especially not today. We're going to go ahead. We're expecting John McDade here in just a few short minutes, so we're going to go ahead and take our first timeout of the program here this afternoon as we broadcast live from Tampa, Florida. It is SEC Media Days 2026, and you're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Call into the show? Send us your thoughts via email. You've got mail. SportsCall@thetiger.fm.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Looking for the best credit card rate in town? The rate on Auburn University Credit Union's MasterCard starts at 7.9% APR. That's right, 7.9% APR. For more information or to apply, visit one of their 3 locations or myaucu.org. Annual percentage rate. Auburn University Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender.
High temperatures today will be right around the 90-degree mark. We will see about a 20% coverage area of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Lows will be in the low to mid-70s overnight. Wednesday, much of the same. Highs in the upper 80s, maybe touching 90 at a few places. Again, about a quarter of the area seeing an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon hours. Rain chances do increase as we end the week, however, as most of the area will start to see some rain by Thursday into Friday. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
It's heating up at Suns Ford in Auburn with the hottest sale of the year. Now's the time to save big on a huge selection of new Ford trucks, SUVs, and cars. Whether you're looking for a rugged F-150, a family-friendly Explorer, or a fuel-efficient Escape, you'll find incredible deals waiting for you. Don't let these summer savings pass you by. Visit Suns Ford in Auburn today or shop online at sunsford.com and pick the Ford you've been wanting at a price you'll love. Suns Ford in Auburn, where the hottest deals of the year are happening now.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. Make sure you listen to the Weekday Rush with James Chandler on Tiger 95.9 FM and the Tiger Communications app.
Good morning, my neighbors!
Good friends, great conversations, and one perfectly poured glass. That's the kind of moment Stella Artois is made for. Tonight, slow things down and savor the ritual, the crisp taste, the perfect pour, and the little details that turn ordinary moments into something unforgettable. So go ahead, pour it right. Raise your glass and enjoy every sip. Stella Artois, perfection served.
The Lee County Literacy Coalition provides adults with one-on-one tutoring for reading, writing, math, and GED prep. We also provide financial, digital, and health literacy workshops and host an ESL book club. All services are provided at no cost and are open to the public. For more information, visit our website at leecountyLiteracy.org or call 334-705-0001, 334-705-0001.
The summer heat is here, and the best way to make sure you stay cool all season long is to give May Refrigeration a call. When your AC goes out or needs maintenance, May Refrigeration's technicians are trained and equipped to handle anything that comes their way. And don't forget, it's never a bad time to get your heating system checked, especially when you aren't using it. Give May Refrigeration a call today at 745-COLD. That's 745-COLD. So for quality customer service that you can count on every time, May Refrigeration, proudly serving the Auburn and Opelika area.
I'm Deshaun Davis, former Auburn Tigers football player and all SEC linebacker. You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. This is Sports Call on a Tuesday, live SEC Media Days 2026 in Tampa. Ryan Lavoie, Tom Peavy, and Brooks Childress with you here on Digital Drive. We are now pleased to be joined by the coordinator, head of officials of the SEC, John McDay, joining us today. John, we certainly appreciate the time. How are you doing?
Gentlemen, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing today?
Doing very well. Great to have you on once again. I always admit to you if I've been able to catch the presentation in the morning or not. This year, I got to right about the point in which you were about to explain the ruling that we were talking about on the punting, because we had gone through the past formations and what had been legal and all of that, and then at the very last moment, I had to leave because we had an Auburn Tiger to interview. So I apologize for not being able to finish off the rules with you, but I always appreciate your transparency and that sort of thing, and so we want to get into those rules in just a moment. I would be remiss here in Auburn, Alabama, to not go back to last year, because there were a couple of controversial things that happened in both the Oklahoma and Georgia games. And I know you can't share everything with us, but I think everyone would just appreciate to hear a little bit about, one, the decision in the Oklahoma game, and about if there was the legality of the play where the player goes towards the sideline, stays on the field, then Oklahoma throws a touchdown. And then two, just kind of the Georgia situation, that play on the goal line, as you might recall, and then the Kirby Smart kind of clapping timeout, no timeout. So if you could walk us through just a little bit of those two adjudications, if you will.
The Oklahoma game, that's pretty simple to answer here. We put a statement after the game, and I think the statement, I don't have anything. The statement was in my words, so I don't know that I have anything more to add to that. Herb Vincent does some grammar corrections and whatnot to keep me out of trouble, but that basically was my statement on that. As far as the Georgia game, I'm comfortable with what we did down on the goal line. We have a standard of clear and obvious, and clear and obvious is something that's subjective, and we're looking for something that's clearly obvious, that there was still firm control by the ball carrier, which happened to be the quarterback, while the ball had clearly broken the goal line plane, and we just couldn't get to that standard, and that's why we upheld the call on the field that the ball was short. As far as the interaction between the visiting team coach and the officials, situation I had never seen before. In that particular instance, it would have been correct for us to have charged timeout to your opponent at that particular night.
Again, there's always, these levels of frustrations at that sort of thing. But, of course, Greg Sankey was very intentional about, hey, we already believe we have a very transparent process. And, one thing I just wanted to ask you about is that, we've seen in other leagues, such as the ACC, them start to show during a broadcast maybe the decision-making room for replay control and that sort of thing. Has there been any conversation in the SEC about that and what it would possibly look like, or just reasons, pros and cons to that and that sort of thing?
I'll start off by saying when it comes to replay, we can't take our eye off the goal if we need to make sure we're 100% accurate, being efficient as possible, which is no way of saying slow the game down as little as possible. Drive down the number of missed stops we have to as close to zero as possible, and we achieve that almost every single year. I mean, we're 1 or 2, if not 0, of missed stops per game. We can't get away from that, right, because the game deserves it. Now, as far as your question, yes, it's in consideration. We're very much aware what our peer conference has done last year. It started with the spring professional leagues with the UFL, right? But from my standpoint, in having these considerations, these discussions with inside the SEC with others, is the mechanics of how it would work with us. In the spring leagues, they have an exclusive window for every one of their games. It's the only game going on. From what I've seen at college and our peer conferences, they've selected windows where they only have one game going on. Typically, it's a Friday night game. Other than week 1 and Thanksgiving week, which this year is week 13, all of our games are on Saturday. And we have at a minimum 3 and sometimes as many as 5 games going on in a single window. What would the mechanics look like of trying to do that in a video center that has all of that going on at the same time? So at the end, let me repeat one last time. It is under consideration. We haven't gotten to the point where, yes, we want to go ahead and do that.
Ultimately, in the fans' eyes, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, though. I guess with your staff, what do you say to them? It's like, hey, listen, stick to your guns, make the call. We'll help you out with these things, but, somebody's going to be upset no matter what you do. I mean, is that a conversation that goes on?
I mean, we certainly factor that. And, as far as my officials, I get the question quite a bit. Do officials officiate different because they know that the replay is there? And look, I was on the field back in the mid-2000s when replay first was instituted in college. I was a back judge the very first year I was in the Big East when we introduced replay, and then within a couple of years I became a referee. And there were certainly the first 2 or 3 years where veterans who had already a 10, 12, 15-year on-field career now had this instant replay review behind them. There was some caginess. There was some unease, all right? Today's officials, they've come up with nothing but having a replay system behind them. And I use the expression, give me an honest at bat, and meaning if you officiate a tight play, maybe the technology, the power went out on it 2 plays before that, and there's no replay behind it. I need an honest at bat on the field. We talk about this, and we work on this all the time, and I think my guys do give me a true honest at bat. Do we push, the second part of what I interpret from your question is, do we push things that are subjective into the replay booth? We absolutely do. I remind people that have been around long enough, I have been, I'm old enough, when the National Football League first instituted replay, they were reviewing things that were much more black and white. Did he step on the sideline? Did the ball touch the ground, right? Did he get firm control of it before the ball touched the ground, right? We've now introduced things into the replay booth that have a lot of judgment on it. Targeting is a terrific example, right? Even catch, no catch. When the NFL first was reviewing catch, no catch, it was things like, does he have a body part down in bounds, and did the ball hit the ground or not, right? What they added later on, and we've adopted, is can he perform an act common to the game such that he has the game or has possession long enough or firm control long enough? That is subjective. Right. We've pushed that into the replay booth. People are expecting replay to be a science-based outcome, and it's not. It's got things like clear and obvious, forcible, indicator for targeting, and does he perform an act common to the game? All subjective.
So again, talking to John McDade here, the SEC head coordinator of officials today on Sports Call. So let's talk about a couple rule changes. This is a rule change year. Every 2 years, I believe, is when those can be enacted. So the numbering exception rule, what's just the rule that I could not quite make to the end of it. So essentially, John, walk us through again what was going on with punt formation and players potentially deceiving the defense in a way that was determined to be illegal now.
Yeah, I won't go. We don't have the time. Sure. But what I introduced to the folks in the main media room earlier today is I took them through the progression of 3 major elements of our rules, and that is when we introduced the forward pass, we created the idea of ineligible players. We didn't have that prior to the forward pass because there was no reason for it. The second major thing I introduced was player numbering and restrictions on interior ineligible linemen. And the third thing I went through is I talked about substitution rules. We had long periods of where our game was played in the late 19th century and through great parts of the 20th century that you had to play 2 ways. And when we made unlimited substitution permanent in the mid-'60s, one of the effects it had is every position could specialize, and our offensive linemen got so much bigger, but maybe more importantly, so much heavier. They didn't have linear speed like we measure in the 40-yard dash, and they weren't ideal to go downfield and cover 45 yards and try to make an open field tackle on an opponent. So we created this numbering exception rule in the early 80s, and what has become in practice in the last 10, 12 years, let's say, is who is ineligible has become confusing to the opponent. And if you confuse the opponent, there's a good chance you're confusing the officials, because the officials aren't in the offensive play calling huddle either, right? And that's why we needed to make a change, just so that we have it's more obvious who the ineligible players, because that's a major tenet of our game when we added the forward pass. You need to declare who your ineligibles are. Coaches are upset with this, and I don't think the average fan would pick up on this rule change, right? I wanted to put the time into it that I did this morning because coaches have been very vocal about it, and they've been vocal about it because they have developed schemes to get more than just 2 gunners downfield in coverage over the last 5 to 10 years that they won't be able to use anymore unless they put 550 through 79s in the game, and to get 550 through 79s in the game, they need to do up to 5 jersey swaps every time they need to punt the ball. They're not happy about doing that. I get why the special teams coaches aren't happy, but I also very much get why we needed to make this change, because it just wasn't in a good competitive balance between the kickers and the receivers when the receivers couldn't identify who was eligible.
And so going through some other things that are going on this cycle. So I believe the offensive pass interference penalty to 10 yards.
10 yards, which matches the NFL. Went from 15 to 10. Okay.
And then also targeting, which is, I think you probably get asked about it. I'm not you, but I feel like I would be asked about it a ton each and every cycle. But this time going to kind of tear off a penalty system for repeat offenders. And so explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the key is here, what is targeting? The definition of it, the requirements targeting, hasn't changed. Right, so we're probably still going to have our agree to disagree, is this targeting or not going to target? That hasn't changed. The penalty for targeting has changed, such that if you're a first-time offender, you no longer have the possibility of a first-half carryover disqualification. Right? If you're a first-time offender, you're going to be disqualified the remainder of that game that you're in, but you're not going to have a carryover. If you're a second-time offender or a 3-time or more offender, you're going to have, in the case of a second-time offender, always have a first-half carryover disqualification. And if you're a 3 or more time offender, you're going to be disqualified for an entire game. That penalty for 3 or more time offenders, that's been around for a number of years now. That hasn't changed. We haven't had, I don't have data beyond 5 years, but for the last 5 seasons, we haven't had a single player across all of FBS have 3 or more targeting fouls in the single year.
Wait, was there a push at all for a first-time targeting of no suspension, just the penalty, or is that something that y'all are very staunch on, that no, there is going to be the suspension on the first-time targeting?
I'll answer it this way. This is an experimental rule, right? And so at the end of the 26th season, the caretakers of the game will look at data like how many targetings per game do we have, and how does that compare to the trend over the last 5 to 10 years. The statistics that I just gave you, we've averaged just under 6 two-time offenders per season and no 3 or more time offenders. Does that change after the 26th season? And they could consider make an experimental rule one more year for the 27th season, or they could consider making it just official, right? Once we get past that step, maybe they consider that in the future. But they need to take this incremental step first, because they want to make sure the change in the penalty doesn't negatively change the behavior, which is another way. They want to make sure the penalty still deters a player from committing a targeting foul.
John, last year we saw the SEC put in more rules about feigning injuries and slow substitutions. What have we seen officiating-wise on that front a year in?
You know, we definitely had, from the good of the game, the look of the game, we had one of our best years in that regards in probably the last 5. Before I get to answer directly your question about the rule change we made last year, there was a second guiding hand, if you will, on this front, and that is we created some discipline from the commissioner inside our conference. I think that is accredited to the improvement we had more than the rule change, but the rule change certainly helped. We did very well with that. The rule states such that if you present injured after the ball's ready for play, we must charge you a charge timeout. If you have none left, it's a delay game. And I was concerned about 2 things. We usually have 1 to 3 officials that are concerned with spotting the ball. We may have a 4th official 25 yards away that's dealing with an injured player situation, and they get the timing wrong because they don't, they can't put it together correctly. The other thing I was concerned with is we asked them to use judgments such as if a player gets up wobbly and takes 3 or 4 wobbly steps and then decides, I can't go the next down and goes down. Even if we had spotted the ball while they were making those wobbly steps, it wasn't the intent in the rule to make a charge timeout. Turns out we did very good in both of those instances. The officials did a really good job of understanding the timing between presenting injured and the ball being spotted, and understanding the soft judgment they need to use for someone that was wobbly right from the get-go.
He is the SEC head coordinator of officials, John McDade, joining us today. John, we certainly appreciate the time. As always, you've been very kind to us each and every year.
It's great spending time with you guys. I wish you the best of the 26 seasons. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. We wish you the best as well.
Thank you. I need it.
John McDade joining us on Sports Call. We're going to take our next time out of the program. Back with more right after this.
Call crew wants to hear from you. Give us a phone call at 334-887-3401.
We all know Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn has you covered when it comes to car stereos, accessories, and expert installation. But did you know Jimmy's is also your go-to spot for ATV and UTV gear? They've got 32-inch chassis, 3,500, 4,500, and 6,000-pound winches, belts, lighting, whips, laser lights, side mirrors, bumpers, phone holders, and rear mirrors. So whether you're upgrading your ride, decking out your ATV or UTV, or adding audio to your boat, Jimmy's has the gear and the know-how to make it happen. Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn. If it rolls, rides, or floats, Jimmy's makes it sound better.
Memories are priceless. That mom's trip you've been talking about, flights, hotel, concert tickets, not so much. But that's where Max Credit Union comes in. Whether it's a weekend getaway with friends, front row concert tickets, or finally taking that trip without the kids in tow, Max has lending tools to help make it happen. Go make the memories. We got the rest. Max Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply for qualified borrowers.
TK's Convenience Stores, your gotta-have headquarters. You know, those things you just gotta have, but don't have time to waste in one of those huge pack stores. Nope, at TK's, we have your gotta-have items with no hassle, along with great customer service, high-quality items, and clean stores. So whether you need a six-pack of your favorite beverage, milk, gasoline, or some cash from the ATM, TK's has it just minutes from you. TK's Convenience Stores, now with 17 locations to better serve you. Always there when you need us.
We're done paying the bills. Now back to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. This is Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Coming to you live from Tampa, Florida, SEC Media Days 2026. Ryan Lavoie, Tom Peavy, and Brooks Childress with you here today. Again, another thanks to John McDade, the SEC head coordinator of officials. Again, John always kind with his time. I think we were up to, 7 or 8 years in a row, really since he's been the coordinator of officials, to talk to us. And again, I feel like we covered all the bases there. Stuff in the past, stuff in the present, stuff in the future.
I'll say this. We love having him on here. He may be the fans' least favorite guy when it comes to officiating, especially like you mentioned, you got him to answer questions about a couple of the Auburn games last year. And, of course, there's been situations that we were just talking about off air with some targeting calls that have not gone in Auburn's favor. So, the fans love a lot of the guys we have. Maybe the head of officials, not the fan favorite, but a source of great information that everybody needs to pay attention to and really understand what he's talking about with some of the rule changes, because they are very important.
To be fair, the fans typically go above his head and tweet at Greg Sankey rather than John McDade about rule stuff.
True.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Again, and certainly, again, John having that experience on the field too. I mean, that's obviously such an important component, so that you know exactly what those officials are going through. And again, there's both sides of it. Obviously, we're very passionate. We have calls. Certainly, calls went against Auburn we felt should not have last year, but also at the same thing, they're not going to be 100%. And you just hope that the 100%, whatever it be, 90, 95, whatever, does not impact the game. Sometimes, unfortunately, it does. But again, I think that I think the effort is there. Can it always be perfect? No, but the effort's got to be there, and I think it is. All right, about to go to our next interview now. The next interview is going to be with Ryan Bartow. He is the new head recruiting analyst of Auburn Undercover, and Ryan knows a lot about the recruiting world. We were able to sit down with him earlier today. We covered all things Auburn recruiting, and he's been covering all things recruiting in this area, going to around the Tampa Bay area. So next up, it's Ryan Bartow right now.
Welcome back to Sports Call here on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie sitting down with Jack Myrick. We are at SEC Media Days 2026 in Tampa, Florida, and we are pleased to be joined by Ryan Bartow, who is now the recruiting expert at Auburn Undercover. Ryan, we certainly appreciate the time. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How can you not be happy in the great state of Florida? I lived here 9 years, 5 on Fort Lauderdale Beach when I was the national analyst for 24/7 Sports, 4 in Tallahassee when I was director of high school relations at Florida State. the weather just makes you happier and better in my favorite state.
And so, Ryan, again, getting things going with Auburn Undercover and the new launch and that sort of thing. And, again, you're going to be the lead recruiting analyst. And you've been telling us that you've already been hitting the trail hard here in the Tampa area especially, too, and all getting recruits on the way down. Just talk us through these first couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, that's how I cover recruiting, exactly like a college coach. I'll hit 5 to 6 schools today. I'm an area recruiter by trade, just like a sports writer. Yesterday, I hit 5 of the top programs in the Tampa area. I'll hit 5 more right outside of Tampa tomorrow. Thursday, I'll talk to a bunch of recruits at the Orlando High School Media Day, and then I'll drive back up to Auburn. But what I was really surprised about yesterday and impressed with, Coach Golich and his staff have built real relationships not only with the high school coaches in Tampa from their time at USF, but all the top 4-star kids in 28 and 29. I encourage everybody listening, tomorrow morning, hop on auburnundercover.com. I'll have a Tampa Insider with all the juice because I interviewed probably 25 kids in those high schools in Tampa yesterday. And Auburn leads for a host of 4-stars. They're in great shape for a lot of real dudes.
And so, Ryan, again, we were talking a little bit about it off air, but, traditionally we know of Auburn having a huge presence in the state of Georgia, obviously in the state of Alabama also, but not as much in Florida, and Florida incredibly competitive recruiting ground. But tell us a little bit about, again, this Tampa Bay area and about, with that out-Scolish connection, how Auburn is trying to change some dynamics in Florida.
Well, first off, I think when Auburn does it right, probably 80 to 90% of their roster should be from the great state of Alabama, from the loaded state of Georgia, and the top state for skill talent, Florida. And they have a great tradition, especially when Eddie Grant coached there, of pipelining kids from Broward County and Fort Lauderdale, where I used to live. I can see that happening going forward, knowing some of their coaches on their staff. But the Tampa area, guys, get used to it in the years to come. Golich built up those relationships when he was here at USF. They're not going anywhere. These coaches, whether they're at Carrollwood Day, Tampa Bay Tech, Armwood, Tampa Plant, Gaither, all the schools I was at yesterday, I interviewed all those coaches. They swear by Golich. They love DVD. They love Larry Scott. They're in great shape for these kids, their families. Auburn's a place with legit NIL, great tradition, great history. So I expect them to really make a haul and land a bunch of these dudes in the 28 class in the Tampa area.
Speaking of classes, this year's class has been very red hot, especially coming out of June. Auburn goes and lands a good bit of 4-stars throughout that month. Starts off with Isaac McNeil out of Viger in Alabama, and really kicked off that month for them. And so my question is to you, looking at Myson Johnson Cook out of Illinois, if you the Florida area, Reed Ramsey out of Orlando, and James Pace out of Maryland. Of these 4-star guys, which one do you think is going to be the guy that really defines this class for the Tigers?
When I left Wisconsin 2 Sundays ago and drove 6 hours to lovely East St. Louis, it was to see their number 1 commit. And I was live on site before I even started working at Auburn Undercover, and I was at practice to see Myson Johnson Cook. The Lord did something special there, 6'2", 240, running a verified 10.3. And Auburn has a great tradition of big backs, whether it's Brandon James, Brent Fullwood, Ronnie Brown, Cadillac, and probably the 2 best, Stephen Davis and Bo Jackson. He's that rare. He's worth every dime they're giving him and more. He's that kind of dude, and he's going to be an instant impact SEC tailback. But just in their class in general, you mentioned the linebacker from Viger. To get him from Mobile, the top linebacker in the state, his junior film is better than the coffee I had this morning. It's that good. He's a real dude. These guys are guys that can play early in their college career. They're SEC real dudes. They have Sunday upsides. And and Golich commented on this at SEC Media Days this morning. They have a top 10 class right now without proof of concept. Imagine when they show it on the field and run that no huddle, no mercy offense and show with Durkin's defense, then the kids are going to buy in even more. So it's a powerful culture.
Going back to what you mentioned about those relationships that he's been building with these players, especially here, what is it? Because there is no proof of concept, as you mentioned just then. What is it? Do you think that people these recruits are like, I want to play for this guy when they speak with Alex Golish?
One, he's going to work hard consistently to stay in touch with the family members, with the coaches. He comes across, unlike a lot of these coaches have a salesman attitude. Coaches and kids can read through that. He comes across really real, genuine. He's consistent, not only a play caller, but he's a talent acquisition guy too. Plus, he surrounded himself with a bunch of very, very, very good recruiters. Larry Porter, Larry Scott, DJ Durkin, DVD, the list goes on and on. To have Chris Kapovic as an analyst, who I think is one of the top 2 or 3 offensive line coaches in the country. So he has a really strong support staff too. I worked with Effie Levy at Florida State. I worked with Tony Rozier at Sacramento State. So there's a lot of people that have personality and most of all care factor in terms of talent acquisition. So you're seeing the residual effect of that. It's like anything in life. If you put in effort and care, you're going to see results from it.
In that 2028 class, who's the guy right now that seems to be shining the brightest right now for that class, leaning towards the Tigers?
Gosh, I talked to so many yesterday. Just in this Tampa area, think about Tampa Bay Tech. Jordan Murray, 4-star receiver. That's an Auburn-Florida battle. He's been to Auburn. He's coming back. The mom is the key. The mom likes Auburn. And that's a high school that's produced the great Deion Kane. When we are 24/7, we named him the #1 receiver in the country. He not played a downer receiver in high school. He's a quarterback. Thank God we hit on that one. And then Dallas Wilson for the Gators. That place has cranked out really good receivers with the top coach in Tampa and Jason Roberts. They also lead for Bruno McDowell, a 6'6", 225-pound defensive end at Tampa Plant, a traditional powerhouse. His dad played for Alabama. Go figure. Alabama hasn't recruited him, hasn't offered him. The only school he's been to is Auburn. So Auburn has a gigantic lead for him too, and they're in great shape. It's amazing to me going through these schools now. The school that has the most talent in this area is Carrollwood Day. They got 6 national recruits there that can play anywhere in the country. Well, Golish's kids used to go to Carrollwood Day. DVD's kids used to go to Carrollwood Day. They have real connections with Coach McDuffie there, and they're in great shape with Antonio Thomas, a freaky DN that's all 6'3", 238, that runs a 4.53. Like, he's going to be high demand. He ran for 900 yards, too, as a junior, and he's even better as a defensive end. So I think they're in great shape with a handful of kids at Carrollwood Day. I can't stress enough, everybody listening back at Auburn, hop on auburnundercover.com. Well-sourced info, and you're going to get on-site info in these 3 states as I hustle through 5-6 schools a day, more than anywhere else in the country.
And so, Ryan, you're talking a little bit about, again, kind of your introduction here with Auburn Undercover and that sort of thing. And it makes me think of Jarris McIntyre, who right now is the Auburn Football Director of High School Relations, and you were a High School Football Director of Relations. And what kind of is that role and the importance of relationships there, and just what that can mean in the recruiting world?
If you do it right, it's priceless value. When I was at Oregon, I was getting my feet wet with that and worked for one of the best recruiters in the country, and Mario Cristobal. When I went to Syracuse with Dina Babers, he made me a lead recruiter on all this. Like, everybody in the country. I want you to be the primary recruiter for certain guys in South Carolina, Florida, where you have real relationships. Mike Norvell took it to a whole nother level. He's like, you're the guy that can get the guys on campus that have the personality to connect with the parents. And that worked big as I was able to be blessed and sign guys like Trey Benson and Jared Verse and Johnny Wilson, and that turned around the fortunes out of the portal for the Sentinels at the time. I think Jarris McIntyre, I knew him back when he was a high school coach in Tampa when I was doing the exact same thing that I did yesterday. So that's a home run hire for Golish. He did well at UCF. Now it means more to him. He played at Auburn. He's a Tampa Plant guy. They will get guys from Tampa because of Jarris McIntyre. And bottom line value, you can't ask for more out of that support staff position.
And I'm curious, Ryan, just as we consider this age of NIL and the age of transfer portal, and we talk about how schools now balance high school recruiting versus portal recruiting. Kind of what is your feel on Coach Golish and how important the high school element is, and just as you also, again, know that there's some things you have to do through the portal, but there's some programs building portal, there's some programs building through, again, the high school ranks, just where Auburn kind of falls into that.
Right, and a lot of people, when they first take a job, they'll bring some of their best players with them. You saw Matt Campbell do that at Penn State. Golish just brought 14 with them from USF, and a lot of guys that can actually play in the SEC. Those receivers he brought with him, the best QB that's going to win a lot of games this year, and that's what wins it for Auburn, just like when they had Cam and Marshall. Dual threat QBs win on Saturdays because it's playing 12 against 11. So they'll do that first before they get a foundation to give them a shot to get back to where they should be in a bowl game every year and get this program on the right footing. But you want to build your program when you do it right with high school recruiting, especially when you're in the Southeast, when you have geography like Auburn, and you're 20 minutes down the road from the fourth best state for talent, and you have access to kids in South Georgia and Atlanta, and you can pipeline kids from Fort Lauderdale and Tampa, probably the two best places in the Sunshine State to get talent, and let alone in the last 15 years, the talent in the state of Alabama, now that they're paying their high school coaches really good, I personally think has raised through the roof. So you can get real dudes out of Birmingham, Montgomery, especially in Mobile. I love kids down south there. So I think Golish is doing it right, where he's going to sign 25 to 30 high school guys a year, lay that foundation. It's the only place in the country that produces real defensive linemen. Trust me, I worked at Oregon, I worked at Sac State. There's no real D linemen on that side of the country. So it's the second most important position in sports, and you can see that in this class. They got 4 or 5 real D linemen to go with dual threat QB. You have that recipe, guys. I saw it at Clemson. They did that, and they won big doing that.
He is Ryan Bartow, the lead recruiting analyst for Auburn Undercover. Again, one more time, Ryan, just pitch what you're working on right now with Auburn Undercover and this new era here.
Well, guys, I'm down here in Tampa for 4 days. I'm going through all the top high schools to see all the top Auburn Tigers targets in the 28-29 class. And I really encourage all our listeners to hop on auburnundercover.com. I know it was the market leader for the last 20 years. It's like apple pie in this market. It got so big that Ronnie Sanders, an Auburn alum, hired me, made the site independent. So you're going to get your juice in there. I'm also double wearing 2 hats. I'm at SEC Media Day yesterday and today as well to get coverage of the team, which is equally important. And I can't stress enough, if you are a college football fanatic, if you can't get enough of it like we all are, hop on there, because you're not only going to get your Auburn team coverage, your Auburn juice. Remember, I was a national reporter, so you're going to get all that kind of juice in terms of coaching switches, portal juice, recruiting juice, exclusively on auburnundercover.com.
Is Ryan Bartow joining us today on Sports Call. Ryan, we certainly appreciate the time and look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Both you guys, I very much appreciate having me on, and you both have a blessed day.
You as well. That is Ryan Bartow here from SEC Media Days in Tampa. Indeed, that was Ryan Bartow again at the new Auburn Undercover and the lead recruiting analyst there again. I was impressed by how many stops he was already making in this Tampa Bay area, and an area that he knows quite well, and several, of course, on Auburn's staff knows quite well. All right, before we run out of time this hour, let's squeeze in a very quick phone call here, 334-887-3401 locally, or toll-free 1-888-9-TIGER-9.
James from Montgomery.
James joins us. James, how are you doing today?
I'm good at War Eagle.
War Eagle.
I know that y'all in Tampa, Florida, and I was there last couple of weeks. I was in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I actually did have a good time. I met everybody from when they were actually doing the World Cup, and everybody told me, everybody in Cocoa Beach, Florida, they wanted me to come back. So, I mean, they're welcoming me back to Cocoa Beach, Florida sometime real soon as well, and I had a lot of fun.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a great time. What is on your mind today?
Well, after I had a long week in my vacation, I was actually covering a lot of college football for you guys, and I was actually seeing how Auburn is going to do for the upcoming 2026 season as well.
Yeah, no, again, we're certainly excited about it. We've chatted with many people here today, and many are optimistic about the team, but obviously, again, a lot of people to talk to here at Media Days.
Yeah, because are y'all going to be talking with Alex Golden from Auburn and seeing what he's actually going to do for this upcoming football season that's going to be coming up in August as well?
Yeah, we're not able to talk to Coach Golish this time. We did talk to him back in the spring, but we did talk to Champ Anthony, the defensive back for Auburn that was down here, and certainly he was a great interview, and we enjoyed our interview with him.
So what would be our most main goal that we have to do to actually beat Baylor in week 1 of our opening game that's going to be starting probably I should say like in a couple of days from now for week 1 of the college football season in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, again, got about 6 weeks till the season kicks off there. I think that the big thing for Auburn is that they established their offensive identity out of the get-go. Yeah. They even performed well offensively last year against Baylor, despite the rough offense Auburn ultimately was. And then they're going to have to keep DJ Lagway in check, the versatile quarterback coming into Baylor.
Yes, as well. And then what about our quarterback, Brandon Brunswick for Auburn? Is he really going to look good this year as he looked last year when we actually had him on our roster?
Byron Brown, yeah, this is his first year at Auburn. He was on USF last year with Coach Alex Golish and the South Florida Bulls. So I think Byron Brown's a key piece of this. I think he's very talented. I think the people that we've talked to here have great confidence in him, and he does have the potential to light it up this year. We certainly hope he does, but obviously the other components of the team need to gel well also.
Yes, as well. And then for the NBA season that's going to be coming up real soon, I've been hearing a lot of different things about LeBron James and seeing where he's going to go in the Eastern Conference teams. And I'm actually seeing if he's going to play with the Milwaukee Bucks as well with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and seeing if he's going to actually take that team to an Eastern Conference Finals or to a NBA championship game in the beginning of the 2026 season that's going to start in October as well.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, your guess is as good as mine in terms of LeBron James. Obviously, he continues to make his decision slow here, but he'll make it sooner, I hope, and we'll see if he ends up with the Heat or Cavs or Sixers and that sort of thing. Any final thoughts for us, James, before I have to let you go?
The only final thoughts I actually have is I've actually looked at the upcoming schedule for the men's and women's basketball season for Auburn, and I know that they're going to be doing some great things in Birmingham. They actually have 2 games back-to-back in Birmingham. It's a exhibition game that is in Birmingham, so I think it's on July the 25th through July the 27th for Auburn and the Auburn men's basketball team, and then they're going to do the same thing as the women for the upcoming 2026 season for college basketball as well.
Auburn will have a exhibition trip to Greece here coming up, but they will also have a exhibition in Birmingham, as you mentioned, but that's not till October, but we're certainly excited they're going to be balling in Boutwell again.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to y'all guys next week. War Eagle.
War Eagle. That is James from Montgomery joining us on the Sports Call phone line. We are out of time for hour number 1 of the program here as we are live SEC Media Days 2026 in Tampa. Coming out of the break, we will rejoin you momentarily, and then we will head to our interview with Zach Blackerby, the host of the Locked On Auburn podcast. This is the Tuesday edition of Sports Call live on Tiger 95.9.
1 hour of our show is in the books. We've got more to come. Stay tuned for another hour of Sports Call right after the break.
Check out Auburn University Credit Union's 7-month CD special. Get 4.15% APR back on a regular or IRA share certificate or 4.25% back on a 7-month jumbo and IRA share certificate. Visit myaucu.org or one of our local branches to learn more. Annual percentage rate, $2,500 minimum deposit for regular share certificates, $500 minimum deposit for IRA share certificates. Jumbo rate applies to $100,000 plus deposits. Terms and conditions apply. Rates subject to change. Visit myaucu.org/rates for current information.
When it's extremely hot or cold, your heating and cooling system has to work almost non-stop to keep you comfortable. To give your system a work break and save money, raise your thermostat to 78 degrees in the summer and lower it to 65 degrees in the winter. Your wallet and your system will thank you. Brought to you by Tallapoosa River Electric Cooperative.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover, and the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Because all that can wait. Your friends shouldn't. There are good stories to be made. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
Being entrusted with a parent's medical needs can be hard, but they need you, whether they realize it or not.
This is Dr. Smith's office. We need to see you, Nicole.
Elder abuse and neglect can take many forms, including self-neglect.
Dad, why didn't you tell me you needed help?
Report suspected abuse or neglect to the Alabama Department of Human Resources at 1-800-458-7214 or look for Adult Protective Services on the DHR website at dhr.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the ABA, and this station.
From the very beginning in 1907, Auburn Bank's mission has been to promote our community, see businesses flourish, and improve the livelihoods of local citizens. We have operated a simple and straightforward business model, built on a foundation of sound business decisions and a caring response. Our local team stands ready to discuss your financial needs and goals. Auburn Bank, champions of you. Member FDIC. Online at auburnbank.com.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover, and the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
Hey folks, dinner time just got a whole lot easier. Swing by Waldo's Chicken and Beer on South College Street and grab the family meal deal. We're talking a whole bucket of bird, plus those famous cheesy biscuits, fresh coleslaw, and 2 sides. Go creamy mac and cheese, collards, potato wedges, whatever feeds your flock. And hey, make it a Thursday thing. It's kids' night at Waldo's. Bring the family, hang on the patio, play a little golden tea, while the grown-ups kick back with a frozen Waldo Rita. Good food, happy kids, and a little time to relax. What more could you ask for? Waldo's Chicken and Beer, South College Street in Auburn.
Whether it's enjoying the night in with good friends and close family or having some fun in the great outdoors, don't forget to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola from one of your 17 local TK's convenience stores. Every sip of an ice-cold, refreshing Coke helps make whatever you are doing memorable. With a variety of options to choose from, TK's has a Coke for every occasion. So stop by any one of your local 17 TK's convenience stores today and pick up an ice-cold Coca-Cola. TK's convenience stores, always there when you need us.
You are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves take Game 1 against the Padres. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Tidal Wave Auto Spa is the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and your go-to car wash destination all season long. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location nearest you.
Michael Harris II and Ozzie Albies each provided solo home runs. And how about Joey Bart with an RBI double as the Braves topped the San Diego Padres 3-2 in Game 1 of the 4-game set. Bryce Elder got the win to improve to 6-6 on the season. He went 6 strong, gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 4. And Victor Medeiros, his first save as a big leaguer, he goes 2 1/3, only 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So congratulations to Victor Medeiros. Game 2 coming up tonight. Walker Buehler on the hill for the Padres. He's 5-5, has a 5.36 ERA, 35 walks and 81 strikeouts. Ronaldo Lopez going for the Braves. He's 4-2, has a 3.50 ERA, 25 walks, and 54 strikeouts. Ford leadoff show with myself and Chris Domino at 6:05 Central, and first pitch between the Braves and the Padres, 7:15 from Truist Park. Ben and Darren will be on the call, and you can hear all of it on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
You are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Since 1995, Alabama's sports talk leader, Tiger Communications, proudly presents Sports Call. It's time to join our Sports Call crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
Second hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Brooks Childress, and Tom Peavy coming to you live from SEC Media Days 2026 in Tampa, Florida. We're having a good time, and don't you worry, you've not to fret, because we have a lot more interviews. In just a minute, going to have our Zach Blackerby interview. There's so many interviews today, gentlemen. I've forgotten what all we've done and what all we will have in the holster for later in the week. We've got more interviews scheduled for tomorrow and Thursday. But what I can tell you is that in the remainder of this show, again, we've got Zach Blackerby in just a couple minutes, the host of the Locked On Auburn podcast. 4:30, you're going to hear from Champ Anthony, the defensive back for Auburn University. 5:05 today, Chase Daniel, the former Missouri quarterback, now of the SEC Network. And at 5:15, you're going to hear audio from head coach Alex Golish, who was making the media car wash earlier today. Of course, all of this, though, is possible by some of our great sponsors, including Miller Lite, where the excitement is building because of, again, SEC Media Days. But Miller Lite is brewed for more taste with only 96 calories. Whether you're watching every snap at home or cheering with friends, make it a Miller Lite. Miller Lite tastes greatness. Please enjoy responsibly. And United Auto Collision. From minor dents to major collision repairs, their experienced team is committed to getting your vehicle looking like new again. When accidents happen, trust the professionals at United Auto Collision. But before we get to Zach, guys, again, also want to remind everyone we are visual this week. We are on YouTube, Sports Call Auburn, and on Facebook at Sports Call Auburn.
So you just saw me yawn.
So you just saw Brooks yawn because I'm taking too long in this intro to the segment. But
I yawned earlier.
Or
I don't think
got
I
up
yawned
too
on
early.
Well, we got up early, that's for sure. But before we get to Zach here real quickly, guys, I want to get a word or two in. Again, this has been Auburn Day. Alex Golesh making the rounds. Again, we'll hear some of his media press conference a little bit later. But I feel like just the overall vibe is optimism, again, for Auburn. And now, again, it hits the football field. It can look something different. But, you know, again, you say to yourself, man, this would happen to anybody. And that's mostly true. I continue to point out folks at Arkansas still not being incredibly excited about Ryan Silverfield. But, you know, I get the inkling that Coach Golesh is, again, making all the right moves on the recruiting trail and making some positive headlines.
Well, here's the thing. The coaches are going to be positive. The players are going to be positive. Where I've seen the positivity for Auburn that we haven't seen really in a couple of years are some of the guests that we've had on, especially some of the national guests. Obviously, the guys that cover Auburn, maybe a little bit more positive, you know, typically. But when we have the national guys on and you hear the positivity with them, everything that they've when they've talked to Byron Brown and the things that he says, the things that Alex Golesh says, you're just getting that positivity from everybody. It doesn't feel doom and gloom that we have seen sitting here at some of these media days. So, you know, that Baylor game is important, that proof of concept. First, right out of the gate, proof of concept on offense. Can DJ Durkin's defense live up to what it did last year? And then maybe we'll see what happens. But, yeah, it is a much more positive vibe around Auburn with really everybody that we talk to. And even if you just go around and listen to people talking, it's more of a positive vibe about Auburn.
And you know, you typically will get a positive vibe when you have a new coach in town. Just in general, everybody, you know, the optimism is there from folks, and even when we have Arkansas, I'm sure there's going to be, you know, some sort of positivity around the here for a new start up in Fayetteville. But the thing is, you know, you look at Alex Golesh. He has said the right things. Mm-hmm. He's done the song and dance. He has said the things he needs to say, and especially here today. And he's off to a fantastic start in recruiting. It's now, as you guys said, all about getting to that Baylor game and keeping that positivity going with results on the field. Because if Auburn goes out and loses that Baylor game, or even if they win and it looks ugly, that positivity starts to slip immediately. And so it's a big deal. You could say what you want here at SEC Media Days. You can give the rah-rah speech and everything. Once you get to that first game of the year, that's where the rubber hits the road for any first-year head coach in the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, his I think the number one quote going around media days today, it arguably is the number one quote anyone said today, but especially Coach Golesh. He said, "I don't set goals, I set standards," because again, that is a common question you get. I mean, it's fair to ask. What is your goal for year number one? What do you believe you are capable of out of the gate, and what are fair expectations, that sort of thing. But establishing the standard, whatever the win-loss column ends up being, is obviously very important for the long term. All right, let's go to our first interview here of the 4 o'clock hour. It is, again, Mr. Zach Blackerby, the host of Locked on Auburn. Here's what he had to say as Auburn begins the Alex Golesh era and has gotten through the summertime period. Welcome back to Sports Call here on Tiger 95.9. We are live on Radio Row. It is 10 Tampa, Florida this year, SEC Media Days 2026. Ryan Lavoie, Tom Peavy, Brooks Childress with you here. We are pleased to be joined by Zach Blackerby, the host of Locked on Auburn. Zach, the time's greatly appreciated. How are you doing today?
Yeah, great. I was skeptical about Tampa as an SEC town. I love the layout here. I think they knocked it out of the park.
You know, Greg Sankey mentioned yesterday, Tampa becoming more of the fabric of the SEC day by day. I think that's a part of his planned takeover to try to enter into as many markets as possible. But Tampa did host a SEC basketball tournament a few years ago, and going to host golf and some other sports, championship gymnastics coming up. So I'm a big Tampa guy, and you know why. But I'm glad everyone's having a good time. So what do you think about this Auburn team, Zach? I mean, and they're coming through here on this Tuesday on Radio Row, getting close to fall practice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like. I think there's a lot that you can kind of talk yourself into about all of these position rooms. I think the offensive line makes sense, but also it's a bunch of guys who've never played together before. They're having to do a whole lot to kind of build that group over the offseason. Running backs clearly make a lot of sense. Tight ends is fascinating. You know, obviously Byron Brown speaks for himself, and so do the receivers. And then obviously the defense is going to be the same. But I think there's a lot about this team and about this roster that you can talk yourself into saying, okay, yeah, I see a path. I see a path to this working.
Quarterback, we know. Wide receivers, we know. Running backs, we know. The front.
Yeah.
Is that going to kind of be the difference maker with where Auburn goes as far as this offense works?
It's one of my biggest questions, for sure. You know, Alex Golesh talking a lot earlier in the week about Stanton Ramil, missed spring, and when they signed him, it really kind of felt like, okay, the goal is for him to be that left tackle from Michigan State. And then he misses time, and then Joe Simmons comes from JMU. We thought he'd be the right tackle, and now we saw him kind of get more reps at left tackle over the course of spring. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but you need both of those guys to pan out. Derek Plaz seems to be the guy at left guard from Miami. Obviously, Cole Best. You know, Coach Golesh can't say enough nice things about Cole. And you know, I talked to Byram earlier today, and he was super bullish on Cole Best. And it seems like the other guy's going to be Cole Skinner. So I think they've got the idea of who they are. There might be some questions on who's at what tackle spot, but they still got to come together. I mean, we all know, like you can have 5 talented offensive linemen, but if they don't gel together, you know, you still got guys coming through.
Because that was going to be my follow-up, Zach, is that last year I felt the excitement level was palpable for the offensive line. Is it that it is very difficult to build cohesion when you're getting portal offensive linemen, or is it just been an Auburn problem the last couple of years? Can you actually have the offensive line be put together even if you're having to do it mostly portal?
Yeah, Daryl asked him that question in the electronic media room, like, what's that balance? Like, sure, immediately, like, you need bodies, you need guys who can play football for you, so you go to the portal. Like, what's the goal? Because clearly they got a lot of offensive linemen in this class. I think, you know, assuming they keep all these guys committed, I think we're really excited about the future. They've got some young guys that they really like. Kenneth McManus from Akron, Wilson Zierer from the high school ranks, Bear McWhorter from the high school ranks. Like, there's a lot to be excited about with some of these young guys. So what's the goal and what's the balance? And he said the goal is to get guys in their third year, then be ready to kind of go on this offensive line. So the goal is high school, keep them here for 2 or 3 years, and then give them a chance to play and then hopefully go on to the league. But that takes time. But the idea makes sense. The previous guy said that too, and it just didn't work. So we'll see what happens here.
When you mentioned Coach Golesh talking in the electronic media room, he was talking about the competition between the offense and defense in the spring and going up against that DJ Durkin defense. What has been your inkling? What has been your what have you heard about that relationship that Golesh built there with his defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's competitive every single day. And look, I think what Golesh preaches, whether you want to call it culture, mindset, attitude, whatever, I think it kind of mimics what we've seen from a DJ Durkin defense and then a DJ Durkin coach team kind of at the end of the year last year, which is what, you know, a lot of traits of really good football teams are. Tough, disciplined, physical, and just finding ways to do what it takes to make your team better. So, I mean, you can say that about a lot of elite teams, and you look at the top of it. And look, that's not what Auburn had on the offensive side of the ball, whether it was during the potato famine with Harsin, whether it was the last few years with Hugh Freeze. So hopefully this mindset and culture shift is big, because I do think it's closer to DJ Durkin.
I know that defense lost some key guys, but you got some good guys coming back. Do you think this defense can be as elite as it was last year? Because, I mean, they didn't even give up 24 points in a game until, Vandy? Can they be to that level again to maybe match what we hope is going to be a high-powered offense?
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't think it's their fault. I think last year, teams that were playing against Auburn, especially down the stretch there, they knew, okay, once we get to 17 points, like, we're probably fine. Auburn's not going to be able to come back. And so I do think some of these teams that played this defense at points were like, let's just not turn the ball over. Let's burn clock. Let's just try to, you know, if we can't score, let's set up the field position game. And that did result in Auburn not allowing a lot of points. And so I think the offense is going to score more. And so that is going to put more pressure on the defense. Not in the sense of like, hey, you have to carry this team in order for us to win, but pressure in the sense of, all right, holding a 14-0 lead looks different defensively. They're going to pass more. They're going to run more tempo. They're going to throw more at you. And I do think a DJ Durkin's system puts a lot of pressure on its corners. I think that's going to be something that kind of pops up too. Also have a lot of questions about the pass rush. Like, we can see all these names that make sense, but like, you did lose your 2 edge guys to the NFL. Like, that does count for something.
You know, we were talking earlier today with Champ Anthony. He was talking about how much he loves to pop people. And he's also been somebody that has moved around a lot in that defense. And so when you lose, as Tom was referring to, several of these defensive backs to really quality schools in the portal, Champ is one of the more experienced, despite his injuries, guys in terms of playing for DJ Durkin's defense. How important would someone like him be versus the other options they're going to have in that defensive backfield?
I think Champ is fascinating. Like, I think when you look at skill set, it screams nickel to me, but Sylvester Smith is a proven guy there. Fagans is a proven guy there. You could put Winters there if you really wanted to. Golish talked about the positional versatility of Blake Woodby playing outside corner and scooting into nickel. It's like, I don't know if that makes sense for the betterment of the team to put Champ there. Then when you talk about safety, you talk about the positional versatility of a lot of those guys, as well as Winters and Fagans, and you can move Sylvester Smith over there. Caleb Harris is a longtime starter. I don't know if that makes sense. I think corner makes a ton of sense, but we haven't seen that, because he didn't go through spring, and it sounds like Champ's been asked a lot by different folks, like, where are you playing, and he hadn't really given a solid answer. He talks about how it depends on matchups. So I don't know. I don't know where I'd put him at corner, but that's not, I'm not DJ Durkin.
No. Looking at this schedule, obviously I don't want to jump you don't want to jump too far ahead of Baylor.
Oh, sure you can. We're not playing.
Yeah. But just, if Auburn doesn't somehow lay an egg in those games that they really should win, it really sets up for that Florida game. I mean, how big? I know, I get it. It's the two new coaches go head to head, but it feels like that Florida game could be the difference between Auburn winning 6, 7, maybe even 8 games.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels like that game is just so vitally important.
Yeah, it's so early. Like, you have a hard time seeing a path to 8 if you lose it. Right. And I'm not saying you couldn't, figure things out against Vandy and Tennessee and get right back on track there, but yeah, it's crucial. I also think it's going to be a little bit symbolic, right? I mean, you talk about the coaching drama between the two, and I think that's going to be something. But yeah, to me, it's going to be huge if you win it for sure. But I think a lot of the magnitude of that win will be, because if you lose it, it could be devastating.
Yep.
And Zach, just thinking about the season as a whole, it's another one of those deals where you feel like you can put it into thirds, and the first third is very doable. Here's your opportunity to get off to a great start. The second third is hold on to your butts, and then the final third is take care of some business and then get to the Iron Bowl. If they are able to get to off to this good start, and they beat Florida and they get to Vandy and they're 4-0 after Vandy, what would be the management level of expectations? Because then you have your Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss grouping. So, I mean, again, do you start thinking the big thoughts because you're 4-0, or do you need to beat Tennessee to start thinking big thoughts just on the optimistic route there?
Yeah. If this culture kicks in like Golish wants it to, what your record is not going to impact how this team plays. That's the goal. These are still young kids, emotional kids, and they have more access to information and voices now than they ever have. So I don't know how possible that is. So the middle fourth is what? Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia. So I did a show yesterday. They made me do the predictions. There's 0-4 is totally possible in that stretch. I'm not predicting it, but it's not impossible. Is it the most likely? I don't know, but it is a scenario there. And so if you go 4-0 and then you look up and you go 0-4, all right, what does that last third look like? And I think 3-1 is totally reasonable in that stretch. And so that turns into 7-5, probably the most boring 7-5 you could possibly have. And that's what all the analytics are saying. Whether you look at FBI, whether you look at what the books are saying, they're saying around 7 wins. And so if that's what it looks like, I'm interested to see what the fan response would be for that.
He is Zach Blackerby, the host of the Locked On Auburn podcast. Zach, we appreciate the time today. Again, for our listeners, and I'm sure some of them are crossovers. Again, how can you find your podcast, and what all have you been up to this week?
Yeah, Locked On Auburn, available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Would love to see y'all there. Talked to John Cohen, talked to Byron Brown, talked to a few SEC folks. So yeah, a lot of stuff dropping throughout the week.
He is Zach Blackerby, again, host of Locked On Auburn podcast. Zach, we appreciate the time today.
Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned. You're listening to the multi-time Abby Award-winning Sports Call.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Tiger Rewards checking at Auburn University Credit Union gives you the tools to manage your credit, monitor for fraud, telehealth services, loan discounts, and more. Visit myaucu.org for more details. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
High temperatures today will be right around the 90-degree mark. We will see about a 20% coverage area of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Lows will be in the low to mid-70s overnight. Wednesday, much of the same. Highs in the upper 80s, maybe touching 90 at a few places. Again, about a quarter of the area seeing an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon hours. Rain chances do increase as we end the week, however, as most of the area will start to see some rain by Thursday into Friday. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory is here for you when you need us. With locations in Lee, Chambers, and Tallapoosa counties, serving the people of East Alabama and West Georgia since 1900. A family-owned and operated business, skip the hassle of the big corporate mortuaries. Our kind, compassionate team members are standing by to assist your family in the hardest of times. An on-site crematory, private cemetery, and a choice of facilities makes Frederick Dean unique. Visit us at frederickdean.com.
Hey, slow it down for a second and make it a Stella moment. From catching up with friends to kicking back after a long day, every great night starts with the perfect pour. Because with Stella Artois, craftsmanship meets ritual, and the little details make every sip worth savoring. Take your time, pour it right, and raise a glass to the moment. Stella Artois, perfection served. TK's Convenience Stores are your one-stop shop from Auburn to the Lake and Tallahassee to Tuskegee. Offering friendly service and a clean environment, there is sure to be a TK's located near you. Stop by on your way to and from work or school and pick up everything you need, from beer, soft drinks, and fresh hot coffee to food, snacks, and ice cream. Plus, automotive and household products, pet food, and an ATM in every store. Just look for the orange and blue Starburst sign and stop by your local TK store today. TK's Convenience Stores. They're your one-stop shop.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
I'm Jeff Whitaker Jr., former Auburn Tigers defensive tackle and national champion, and you are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. This is the Tuesday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Brian Lavoie, Tom Peavy, and Brooks Childers coming to you live from Radio Row in Tampa, Florida. It is SEC Media Days 2026. You just heard from Zach Blackerby, the host of the Locked On Auburn podcast. And again, Zach talking about the different components of the team. Again, one of the components we spent a decent amount of time on was that offensive line. As we continue to have the questions, Zach kind of going through what he believes will be the group of five in some order, but still working through a lot of different concepts of what that offensive line could look like. And obviously that needs to improve if Auburn's going to have the type of offense it wants to have.
Yeah, I you don't want to say make or break, but You can have the best quarterback in the world, but if you don't have a decent offensive line, it doesn't matter. You can have the best running backs in the world. You can have the best wide receivers in the world. It all starts up front. And if you do not have any sort of cohesion with your offensive line, then that's going to lead to problems everywhere else. So that's one thing that everybody overlooks looks at that because they just focus on the skill positions. But man, your offense starts with it goes as far as your offensive line goes. So. Question marks there for Auburn. If there is a big question mark, it is that offensive line. Can it gel together, and can it give the type of protection that Byron Brown needs? Can it open up the running game holes for Brown and for that running game? We'll see. They've got the people in place. It's just a matter of can it gel together and just be a good cohesive unit.
And again, the health portion of it too.
Right.
That Stanton Ramil is in a better place health-wise. They really need him to be one of their tackles, probably left tackle. They have to know also, and Zach was talking a little bit about this. And I think maybe Brian Matthews, who you're going to hear on the program probably tomorrow, that they don't expect to have. The best version of themselves on the offensive line. They might be able to find a position here and there that are already really up to par. They might be able to have guys that do excel not only at a conference level but at a national level. But the offensive line is still expected to be, a lot of hard work done on it, and to just be able to, get it into a place where it can be successful. Obviously. They have had so much trouble the last few years, and we talked about it where, they brought in portal guys they thought they really liked, and then they ended up not gelling well together. So the cohesion part of it is just going to be so important for what they are trying to do, because we can talk about Byron Brown until we're blue in the face, and we can talk about all these skill position players, but, the reality is they have just not been up to par on the offensive line, and if they don't get there, then it's going to affect everything that they do. Yeah. And then that's where my fear, because we've talked about Byram's throwing motion a good deal, as everyone has, and I personally just don't think it's going to be an issue. The issue I would have is that if you then do not block successfully, and you're asking him to get out of make these quick decisions and get the ball out of his hands super quick.
That's a problem.
Then I think we could have a problem because, it's a longer motion. Obviously, it looks weird, but it looks weird because it's so long, where he drops the ball down to. So, I don't think that it is an issue unless your offensive line makes it an issue.
Yeah, keep guys out of his face. That's one thing. You're going to end up with a lot of balls batted back into him if the offensive line can't keep the lineman out of his face. It's going to mess up a lot of things if you're not able to block. But that's also the same thing with the running game. We think, and everybody that really follows Auburn thinks that Jeremiah Cobb could have an amazing year this year because this offense spreads everybody out to the numbers. It's going to make mismatches on the inside. It's not going to allow teams to stack the box. All these different things, and that sounds great. But you got to block. You got to block the guys that are there. You have to block to the scheme. You have to open those gaps up. If you don't have the guys that can do that, then if the guy on the left is missing an assignment, then the guy on the right's going to look like a fool. If the guy on the right's missing an assignment, then the guy on the left's going to look like a fool. You can't have those things. Everybody has got to be nice and cohesive. Know what their spot is doing. Know what the guy to either side of them is doing, and work as a unit. Get those gaps opened up. Protect the quarterback. And Auburn has the potential to do some really special things if they're able to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, they do have a higher ceiling than what you might expect out of a year one or that sort of thing. But obviously, you got to have a lot of things go right for you. Also, and you got to develop things pretty quickly. But again, love the can-do mentality that they have, and certainly think that they are. Hopefully going to get the ship righted here. Again, a lot of hard work to do, though. All right, so let's go ahead and take our next timeout of the program. When we come back, you will hear the conversation that we had earlier today with Champ Anthony, the defensive back for Auburn. We were able to sit down with him earlier today for what was a very enjoyable conversation. That is coming up next on the Tuesday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9.
Sports Call is on the air weekdays from 3 until 6 p.m.
I read a book about this sort of thing once. Are you sure it was a book? Are you sure it wasn't nothing? Oh, yeah.
We're Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show.
The summer heat is here, and the best way to make sure you stay cool all season long is to give May Refrigeration a call. When your AC goes out or needs maintenance, May Refrigeration's technicians are trained and equipped to handle anything that comes their way. And don't forget, it's never a bad time to get your heating system checked, especially when you aren't using it. Give May Refrigeration a call today at 745-COLD. That's 745-COLD. So for quality customer service that you can count on every time, May Refrigeration, proudly serving the Auburn and Opelika area.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Pricing coverage match limited by state law.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong. You are fearless. You are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover. And the best part? Every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
Now I need your help to get back to the year 1985.
Check out the Flashback Lunch, weekdays from noon until 1 on the Tiger. We're playing 80s, postmodern, retro, and more. The Flashback Lunch on Tiger 95.9.
Like, I love those classics. Those are great.
Let's get back to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9. Feel free to give us a call at 334-887-3401 or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9.
Welcome back to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9. We are on Radio Row in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026. Ryan Lavoie, Jack Myrick, and Tom Peavy with you here today and we are pleased to be joined by Auburn defensive back Champ Anthony on the program. Champ, we certainly appreciate the time. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir, I'm doing good. Thank y'all for having me.
How's your SEC Media Days experience been so far? I know it's a little bit early, but being in Tampa, as going through the car wash a little bit, how you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great, man. I've loved Tampa so far. You know, we got the guys who came from USF, like, so Byron knew all the spots. Yeah, we ate good last night. I love Tampa.
Awesome. And so, as you mentioned, you got a lot of your teammates down from USF. You got Coach Alex Golesh in for season number 1. What have you thought of Coach Golesh so far? What has been different? What are just the things that you've noticed as you've gone through the spring and now the summer?
You know, it's always different, like, when you get a new head coach. Like, everybody has their different philosophies and how they think and how they move. But, like, one thing I'll say about Coach Golesh is, like the relationship that he has with his players is very different. Like, coaches say that they're there for their players, but Coach Golesh, he really is. Like, he matches what Auburn really means. Like, Auburn really means, like, takes care of family. And Coach Golesh, like I just said on the last show, like, I can call Coach Golesh and it's not a big deal. Like, I can walk in his office and it's not a big deal. Like he's really, like, I understand that there's a power level to this, but, like, he's really like a friend. Like, he's really like a friend, but, like, he's a great coach and a phenomenal man.
And Champ, Golesh has mentioned you as being like a vocal leader in that defensive locker room. Was that something that you kind of always been here on the Plains, joining him back in 2023? Was that something that has been with you since high school days, or is that something you kind of just grew into?
No, like, I've been me since forever. Like, I've led on every team that I've ever been on, from when I was 4 years old playing football to now. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I see something, I say something, and I want to get the best out of everybody, coach, player, personnel. Like, I want to get the best out of everybody, because I know if we're all doing the best as we can, like, we're unstoppable.
Kind of going into that leadership thing, being a part of this kind of means you're a team leader. How did you find out that you were coming here, and then just also you being selected to come here and represent Auburn as a leader? I mean, how much does that mean to you?
So Coach Golesh had called me to his office, which, like I said, like, it's pretty regular. Like, you know what I'm saying, I'm in there pretty often. So I thought it was gonna be like a kind of like a regular conversation. Then he told me that I was gonna be, like, representing Auburn at SEC Media Day, and, like, a jaw drop. I was like, I kind of expected it, but not really. Like, not really. New staff, like, you don't know, like, who they're gonna pick, and I'm just so glad that they picked me to represent Auburn, because, you know, like, I've done a lot for this place, and I've bled for this team, and I love these guys. So I'm just glad I get to represent them.
And speaking of doing a lot, you've coming back from 2 leg injuries over the past couple seasons. It takes a lot of adversity, to keep just going out there and fighting, and I think that's why a lot of people have just been grown to you, just kind of like you're just magnet, just because it's like, how do you not respect that? And I would like to know, like, who has been that person that's really been there, like, during those hard times to lean on and for support after going through those 2 seasons and really trying to get your body right?
I'll say this, like, there's three major people that have been in my corner this whole time. We're really 4 if you want to, like, Jesus Christ, like, he's been there, like, the whole way. Even when I broke my leg on the field the very first time. At first I was like why, and then it's like it came to my head, like, don't question God, like, there's a plan for you. And in every superhero movie, like, they go through something. That's what makes you like them. So I just I thank God for the opportunity to be able to overcome these type of situations, because if you really look at it, like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I broke my leg. I'm a JUCO. I'm a 0-star. Like, why am I here? Like, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to spread the love of Jesus Christ, and I thank him for every obstacle he puts in front of me. I thank him for it. In the moment, yeah, I'm mad about it, but I thank him for it, because it makes me stronger for it. And my girlfriend, I've known her since the 6th grade. So, like, she's been there, like, whether I'm up, whether I'm down, she was there for me in JUCO. Like, it doesn't matter. She's always been in my corner, and Coach Durkin and his wife and his family, like, that support system has meant so much to me. Like, everything that I've ever needed, any comfort, conversation, like, I could call Miss Sarah, Coach Durkin's wife, or I could call Coach Durkin, like, and it's nothing. Like, and they're just really there for me. Like, they're like my family away from family, and I love them for that, and I just appreciate it.
That's beautiful stuff. Champ, you have also been all over the football field. You've been corner, you've been safety now. Just tell me about the difference in the two, and if there's been kind of any sort of learning curve bouncing back and forth, or if you have a preference, or just kind of how those 2 positions have worked out for you.
Really, I've done both my whole life. So, like, of course, like, when you have, I've had what? 3 or 4 different like safety coaches and 2 corner coaches, but football is football. Like I love corner and I love safety, but like there's differences in game plans and at different times in the year, but I love both of them.
You've delivered some of the most impactful hits that I've seen from somebody in the secondary. Just how did that become a part of your game? Is that one of the most joyful things about your game, in your opinion?
Oh my gosh! I thank God you asked me this question. Like, I don't think people really understand. Like I love football for 2 reasons. I get to put God on the pedestal, and number 2, like when you hit somebody and you feel that breath come out their body. Like there's no better feeling, and you can't. And I can do it legally. Come on now, like I'm gonna do it every chance I get, and that's what I love about football. Like making somebody do something that they don't want to do, like because me. And the thing about defensive back, like I love it because I'm going backwards. I don't know where I'm going. You know where you're going, and you're going forward. Like if I beat you, I'm a way better athlete than you, and that makes my heart smile.
So now, are you kind of a quiet assassin, or you let them know you're there?
No. You're gonna hear me. You gonna hear me in the locker room when you in your locker room. Like, you're gonna hear me all game long.
I hear you.
Going back to after the Iron Bowl, waiting on seeing who would be the next head coach of the Auburn Tigers, ends up being Golish. Go back through that process of meeting Golish, and then obviously hearing the news that they're going to be bringing back Durkin. What was the emotions that you were going through and that you could feel in the locker room?
It was crazy. People don't really know what to expect or who's coming in, and like now that I've met Golish, like I really thank God that I stayed. Like he's a great man. Like, and coach, when I got the green light, Coach Dirk was staying. Like it was over. I knew what I was doing. My decision was set. I'm here. That's my guy. But yeah, they brought in a really good head coach, and I really just love him.
Wrapping up with Champ Anthony here on Radio Row. Champ, finally coming into this year. Goals for yourself, goals for the team. What are they?
Of course, goals for myself. You know what I'm saying? Play the whole season, play healthy. You know what I'm saying? At an elite level, and for the team, just do our job. Play our brand of football every game, day in and day out, and we'll have a successful season if we do that.
He is Champ Anthony, defensive back for Auburn University, going into his senior season. Champ, we certainly appreciate the time. All the best to you this year in War Eagle.
Yes, sir. War Eagle. Thank you.
That is Champ Anthony here, Tampa, Florida, Radio Row, SEC Media Days 2026.
We need a timeout. Sports Call will be back after this quick break.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
Looking to put the cherry on top of the perfect meal? Honey Baked Ham in Opelika has you covered, with desserts that are almost too good to share. From our rich cinnamon and blueberry coffee cakes to southern pecan, apple caramel walnut, and more, our pies are pure comfort in every bite. And if cakes are your thing, we've got coconut, triple chocolate, and of course, a classic red velvet that'll make you wish every day was dessert day. There's no better way to finish your meal than with a sweet treat from Honey Baked Ham. Come get yours today, located at 1451 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Imagine for a moment what it would be like not being able to read. For some, this is a reality. 1 in 4 Alabamians is functionally illiterate, with more than 24,000 adults in Lee County alone. Many exist in poverty, lack a high school diploma, and struggle to find and keep a living wage. Join Lee County Literacy Coalition in the goal of ending illiteracy in our community by volunteering, sharing our message, and donating to the cause. For more information on how to get involved, call 334-705-0001 or email info@leecountyliteracy.org.
I'm Corey Grant, former Auburn football and NFL running back, and you are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. This is the Tuesday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Brooks Childress, and Tom Peavy with you here from Radio Row. It's SEC Media Days 2026. A big shout out to our entire team this week, putting everything together. Connor Knight back at our Auburn Bank studios. Jared Dillard here on site helping us with the stream. Yes, that's right. You can stream it visually. Again, you can see it on YouTube, Sports Call Auburn, or Facebook Live at Sports Call Auburn also.
We've gone big time.
We have indeed.
My favorite part of the stream is that if you're just walking by us on media days and we're coming back from commercial break, there's music playing, and you see me like dancing, you have no idea what I'm doing. But the stream does because it hears the music. So they know what I'm dancing to. Our peers in the media just think I'm wacko.
Well, there is that.
Oh, yes. But, again, you can watch it here this week. And, again, we will not be having a live show on Friday. We will have really, I can go ahead and start promising you, since it's Tuesday and the amount of interviews we've done, we will have a mostly new show of a bunch of interviews that you will have not yet heard this week. There might be a couple of throw-ins that have already played. But, for the most part, all going to be new content on Friday, but just not live as we make our travels back to Auburn. Again, we're certainly having a busy time here in Auburn right now. Before we continue on here, do want to shout out our sponsors again for being able to make this happen for us, including Auburn Repro Graphics. Whether you need blueprints, banners, signs, business cards, or high-quality printing for your business, Auburn Repro Graphics delivers a professional result with hometown service. Think Auburn Repro Graphics for all of your printing needs.
And I was going to say, on Auburn Repro Graphics, if you haven't seen it yet, head to our social medias, check out the new van wrap.
Yes.
Auburn Repro Graphics got the new Tiger van wrapped. And unfortunately, we weren't able to bring it down here for media days, but catch it around town, especially when we get to high school football season. It's going to be making the rounds. It looks very, very good.
And especially when we go to Suns Ford.
Excellent. That's right.
This coming Monday. So our next live show after Tampa will be at Suns Ford on Monday.
Right.
So, and also brought to you by Waldo's Chicken and Beer. After the game or any time you're craving crispy chicken, cold beer, and a great atmosphere, make Waldo's your destination. Great food, cold drinks, and the perfect place to catch all the action this football season.
There's been times that the might be sitting outside of Waldo's Chicken and Beer as well.
There will be.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and say it every Wednesday night during the fall.
Yeah.
High school coaches show
That's
back in
right.
action.
Yeah, we can go ahead and say that. It will be hosting our high school coaches show for the second year here, coming up in about starting 4 weeks or so from now. You ready, Brooks?
Lock in. Got to lock in.
Yeah. Yes. But, again, you also get a lot of great chicken when you
That's right. That's
get to be there also. All right, got a few minutes left here in the hour. Again, we're going to have a couple more fun segments for you in hour number 3, which will include the Out Scolish press conference audio. That'll be about 5:15 today. And then also coming up at 5:05 this afternoon, we're going to have Chase Daniel, the quarterback from Missouri, who is now with the SEC Network. And, again, said some great things yesterday. That was one of the interviews we conducted yesterday. All right, so, but again, the few minutes we have left, again, we've got Auburn Day here.
Yeah.
Things are wrapping up for everything that's done media-wise, but, certainly good to have the Tigers. Again, there was a time we would have waited all the way till Thursday, several years in a row that was the case.
Right. Well, the first part of what you said, everybody wrapping up, I'm trying to get used to the whole fact that we're on Eastern time here, and so we're still going with the show, but everybody else is kind of cleared out except for a couple of folks. So that's just odd. It's normally bustling all the way up until we end.
It's all the rest of our Central Time Zone friends.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just us and them. All the Eastern Time Zone folks are like, it's 5 o'clock.
Yep.
It's 6 o'clock. We're getting out of here. I'm like, well, we got another hour to go.
But yeah, man, it's already been a great week. Looking forward to more. I mean, this is just day 2. We've still got more to come. For all of you listeners and viewers out there. And so,
yes,
I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that we have left to come.
And we did just get a question on the stream about if Alex Golesh, if we feel that he's going to win the big games at Auburn, because he obviously lost a couple of the key games his last season at USF that could have gotten them in the AAC championship game. My response to that would be Auburn needs to win games first.
Period.
Any games first before they get into the big games. Auburn's not been in truly big games since, I would say, 2019 is the last time they really were in a bunch of those. And so they need to focus on winning enough games to go to a bowl game first. Obviously that Florida game is going to be a big one.
I was just about to mention.
In the early part of the season. I think the Tennessee one is very gettable given their quarterback situation. Neyland is a great place to play, and obviously Auburn's not been there in a long time, and Auburn probably owes Tennessee one for when they came down to Auburn a couple of times and got it done. But, I think that ultimately, what the message from Alex Golesh was, and people view this as weak. I think it's intelligent. You can't come guns a-blazing saying you're going to win 9 games and you go 7-5.
Right.
But, I think that they're much more focused on let's do this the right way and let's look good in whatever we're doing. And if it results in a meaty win total, then great. If not, then that's what we're aspiring to down the line. But if we don't get the foundation stuff and try to rush the process, again, we've heard, and look, I know it's been asked in multiple interviews, and it's not unfair, and in some of the interviews we've not yet aired, you're going to hear it because we've asked it. But the Kurt Cignetti comparison, I think we're already going down the road of overuse.
Yes.
Because, that is still, I think, a very abnormal, outlying outcome. And, it doesn't mean you don't have really good coaches. I know Steve asked us yesterday, well, if Auburn's got the same type of transfers, why can't they do the same thing? Well, it's not as simple as that. It's the opportunity of your schedule. It is the opportunity of each individual player making the most and gelling well together. It could be that Kurt Cignetti is the very best coach in the country.
Yep.
There's a lot of things in play for it. And so I'm feeling less and less comfortable with timelines now.
Right.
In this age of college football where there's portal and there's NIL and there are things that you can do it much quicker. But I don't want to confine every coach in every situation to, you should be on the Indiana plan all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the different timelines. I mean, you've got coaches that could get fired in 2 years. And then we've talked about it, prior to SEC Media Days, we did all the conference hot seats for the coaches. And there are coaches that were like, wow, he should have been fired last year, and he was given another year. And so there's so different timelines going on where, if different schools and different coaches, depending on what they've done and their resume, get different timelines. It's not the traditional 4 years like me and you, Ryan. We've both been very big advocates for in the past. That it was being an advocate for 4 years, one full recruiting cycle, and then moving on. And if you haven't gotten the job done, it's just not how it works anymore.
Times were simpler then.
It was.
Well, and I like what Alex Golesh was saying about laying the foundation. Yeah, you want to have some success in year one, but you got to lay the foundation for the future. One of the great things, I saw a quote where Gene Chiswick, former Auburn coach, had asked Alex Golesh, in 4 years, what do you want people to say is the Alex Golesh program? And that's where you start setting that foundation. You lay the foundation for what people are going to look at this program 3 years, 4 years, maybe 5, 6, 7 down the road if it really builds into something big. And that's where you start this year. You don't have to win a national title this year. Heck, Auburn doesn't even have to go to the playoffs this year. How about you make a bowl game? That is so attainable just about for anybody out there, and it's attainable for this Auburn roster, is a bowl game. Don't fall on your face. Set the standard. get things going in place in a positive direction. Proof of concept, something that we have just talked about. You talked about beating a horse.
Yep.
Is proof of concept. Because that was one thing that Hugh Freeze never gave us. I mean, if anything, it was a lack of a proof of concept.
Right.
It was zero concept at all. Proof of concept, lay the foundation. You don't have to get the huge chunk of it this year, but just show there's some positive. And for goodness sakes, on the offensive side of things, give the fans something to be at least excited about and joyous about, because, man, over the last several years, that offense has just been brutal to watch.
Yes, and again, it was mentioned in some of our interviews that we've conducted today that, you're tired of not scoring, and again, one of the things that would make this season more aesthetically pleasing, even if the win-loss department does not improve a ton, is being able to show that you have an offense and have some fun in your football game instead of losing miserably low-scoring games. We are out of time for hour number 2 of the program. Stay tuned. Much more ahead, though, in a busy hour number 3. This is the Tuesday edition of Sports Call, live from Radio Row in Tampa, Tiger 95.9.
Two hours of Sports Call are finished. Don't touch that radio dial. We've got one more hour to go.
From the very beginning in 1907, Auburn Bank's mission has been to promote our community, see businesses flourish, and improve the livelihoods of local citizens. We have operated a simple and straightforward business model, built on a foundation of sound business decisions and a caring response. Our local team stands ready to discuss your financial needs and goals. Auburn Bank, champions of you. Member FDIC. Online at auburnbank.com.
Are you looking to buy or sell land in the Southeast? Southeastern Land Group is here for you. With over 20 years of experience, we specialize in farms, ranches, timberland, hunting properties, and recreational land. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time buyer, our expert team offers personalized service every step of the way. From listing to closing, we make the process simple and smooth. Ready to make your move? Visit selandgroup.com and find your perfect piece of land today. Southeastern Land Group, your trusted partner in land sales.
Weekdays from noon until 3 p.m. Join Tilly the Elder Emo for Flashback Lunch and all your favorite alternative rock in the afternoon. Only on Tiger 95.9 and on the Tiger Communications app.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover, and the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
All know Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn has you covered when it comes to car stereos, accessories, and expert installation. But did you know Jimmy's is also your go-to spot for ATV and UTV gear? They've got 32-inch chassis, 3,500, 4,500, and 6,000-pound winches, belts, lighting, whips, laser lights, side mirrors, bumpers, phone holders, and rear mirrors. So whether you're upgrading your ride, decking out your ATV or UTV, or adding audio to your boat, Jimmy's has the gear and the know-how to make it happen. Jimmy's Car Stereo in Auburn. If it rolls, rides, or floats, Jimmy's makes it sound better.
When the game is on the line, heroes rise, and off the field, real heroes deserve their moment too. Game Day for Heroes is all about giving back, providing unforgettable game day experiences to the brave men and women who've served our great nation. It's more than just tickets. It's about saving lives, restoring families, building tomorrow, and honoring our heroes. You can help make a difference. For more information or to donate tickets, visit GameDayForHeroes.org. Game Day for Heroes, because those who serve deserve a game day they'll never forget. At Mid-South Bank, we're your problem solver and financial advisor. Managing your money can be challenging. The good news is you don't have to go it alone. You have a friend in us. No matter what your financial status, we're here to help you do what's best for you. Come in today at 519 East Glen Avenue or visit bankmidsouth.com to find out what the friendliest, most helpful bank in town can do for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Before we get to football season, we have to get through talking season, and SportsCall Auburn has you covered. SportsCall will be broadcasting live from SEC Media Days 2026 in Tampa, Florida, July 20th through 24th, with exclusive interviews featuring the biggest names in SEC football that you won't hear anywhere else. Listen to SportsCall live at SEC Media Days all week from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Tiger 95.9, online at the Tiger.fm, and on the free Tiger Communications app. SportsCall live from SEC Media Days is brought to you by our friends at Auburn Reprographics, Waldo's Chicken and Beer, United Auto Collision, Fairway Auto Brokers, Miller Lite, and Jeffco Trent Funeral Home.
You are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
This is the Tiger Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. I'm Connor Knight. Back in March, sophomore left-handed pitcher Jake Marciano was named the Southeastern Conference Co-Pitcher of the Week for the week of March 16th after throwing 7.0 scoreless innings in his SEC debut at Missouri. It marked the fourth straight week an Auburn player was recognized by the conference. Marciano retired the last 11 batters he faced in the outing after allowing a one-out double in the fourth inning. He needed just 82 pitches, 57 of which were strikes, to get through 7 innings prior to his outing being cut short due to a lightning delay. And the Atlanta Braves started their series with the San Diego Padres last night with a 3-2 win on Monday night. The Padres started the scoring in the fourth inning following 3 dominant innings from both pitchers with a Manny Machado solo home run. The Braves would strike back in the 5th inning as Michael Harris II went homer to tie the game. Then Joey Bart would double in the second run of the inning. There would be Ozzie Albies stepping up to the plate in the 6th inning and delivering a big hit to give the Braves run they would need to win the game.
Peralta kicks and brings it. Ozzie hits one high and deep to left field. Flying back very quickly to the wall. That's gone into the Padre bullpen, and the Braves hit a home run again. Their second of the night. It's now a 3-1 lead, and that's a big one for Ozzie, swinging it from the right side against the lefty Peralta.
That audio courtesy of the Braves radio network. The Padres would attempt to come back in the 7th inning as Ty France would homer to the left field, but that would be all they could get. The Braves and Padres continue their series tonight on AM 1230 WAUD. And the PGA Tour's FedEx Cup fall schedule will include new tournaments in Asheville, North Carolina, and Austin, Texas, as well as a 2-event swing through Mexico. The 8-event fall schedule, which is one more tournament than last season, will tee off in North Carolina for the first time at the Biltmore Championship Asheville at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove on September 17th. It will be the PGA Tour's first tournament in Asheville since Ben Hogan won the last 3 Asheville Opens from 1940 to 42. The last event of the Tour's fall schedule is again the RSM Classic at Sea Island Golf Club in St. Simons Island, Georgia, where the FedEx fall standings. I'm Connor Knight, and this has been your Tiger Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union.
Auburn University Credit Union is partnered with Care Humane Society for the AUCU CARES debit card. It's free to you, and each time you swipe the card, AUCU makes a donation on your behalf. It's a win-win. For more information, visit myaucu.org. AUCU is federally insured by the NCUA and an equal opportunity lender.
You are listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Whether you're leaving work, cruising around town, or listening on demand, we've still got some fun left for you. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show has been on the air since 1995 and is ready for 60 more minutes of fun. Now, let's get this hour of Sports Call started.
Third and final hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Tom Peavy, and Brooks Childress with you live. Radio Row SEC Media Days 2026 here in Tampa, Florida. It's been so great to be here so far. Even though it feels as if we have been here longer, we are technically 1 hour away from being halfway through the week here in Tampa, if you want to look at it that way. In just a moment, going to play another interview for you. That will be Chase Daniel, the former Missouri quarterback, now of the SEC Network. Before we do that, though, I want to continue to thank our sponsors for supporting us this week, including Fairway Auto Brokers. If you're looking for your next vehicle, Fairway Auto Brokers makes buying easy with quality pre-owned vehicles, competitive financing options, and customer service you can trust. Stop by and see why so many drivers choose Fairway Auto Brokers. And again, another reminder, I want to keep promoting this. If you want to see our smiling but slightly tired faces, we are on the streaming side of it this time, and you can see us visually on Facebook at our Sports Call Auburn page or on YouTube at our Sports Call Auburn page there. Again, a big shout out to Jared Dillard for helping make that happen for us. And just a shout out to everyone working on the show, whether you're hearing their voices on each and every show or not. And again, another thank you to Connor Knight back in our Auburn Bank studios. Before we get to our next interview, guys, one of our live interviews this week was with John McDade a little bit earlier in the program.
Right.
And just want to digest what we heard from John just for a small minute or two. A couple of rule changes to go through this year. The punting side of it, not as significant, admittedly. It is more of a procedural, structural thing. Some of the punt formations were getting a little crazy. You would have, some of these, rollout punts, and you'd have small players lined up everywhere, and you see shifting, and so they're basically going to tighten it up to within 5 yards of the ball on either side is where these ineligible players have to be, because they were putting ineligible players all over the place, hiding the eligible players. But really, the biggest thing was the targeting side of it. And, again, if you did not hear that, they will now do kind of a tiered penalty system for targeting. So the first targeting will be you are expelled from that game. You are done for that game, but you will not be suspended no matter when the targeting occurs for the first half of the next game. You could get the targeting on the final play of the game or the next last play of the game. You will not be on your first offense suspended for any part of the next game. Your second targeting offense, you will, no matter when it's happening in the first game, you will be suspended for that first half. So even if it is the first quarter of the game, if this is your second offense, you will be suspended for the first half of the next game also. And if you have a third offense, you will be suspended for a full game the next game, no matter when this occurs. Something that John did note was already in place, that third offense being in place. However, John, again, gave the stats. Why you may or may not have realized that is because it has not happened in the last 5 years. There's not been a single player accrue 3 targeting fouls over the course of the regular season, and there's only been a handful or so that have even gotten 2, which kind of surprised me. I would have thought it'd be a handful or 2 per conference.
Right.
But, just a handful or so. I guess he was doing by conference. So 5 or 6 for the SEC players in the entire league, though. So, theoretically, if those numbers hold true, this is going to create a situation where the vast majority of players could have a very positive impact from this and now not be suspended for the first half of the next game.
Yeah, but there's still parts of that I don't like, because what happens is, you get a targeting penalty on the last play of the first half. Well, then you're having to miss a half. Correct?
If you're the
if you get a targeting penalty on the last play of the first half, then you have to miss the second half.
Yeah, the rest of the game. Yeah, you're
Right.
suspended for the rest of you're
Right.
out for the rest of the game.
Right.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
if you
that was already true. Yeah.
Exactly. But if you have a targeting penalty on the last play of the game, you
Yes.
don't have to miss the game. So
Right.
it just I feel like it's.
You think people in the second half get more aggressive?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I don't like suspending a player. Period, for a targeting call, unless, and that's where I feel like that they need to figure out some way of doing targeting, to where they can look at it, and if it's egregious, if it's something where a guy is clearly headhunting, if it's something where a guy just clearly made a dangerous illegal tackle using the crown of his helmet or something, then sure, I get it. But time and time again, you see these targeting calls get called on a player where they're just making a play. They're going low, and the runner or the ball carrier goes low with them, and they collide. And now it's a penalty. And if it's in the first half of the game, now you're still out for the second half. No, if it happens late in the fourth quarter, okay, congratulations, you got lucky. Your targeting foul happened later enough in the game that you're not going to have to miss. But that's still, I don't like it. I don't like kicking a kid out of a game when a lot of times they're just making a tackle. I feel like something needs to be done with the targeting, to where if you're going to tier system like that, there needs to be a tier system on the severity of the targeting. I just don't. I don't think it's fair for a defensive player to do something that is not dangerous and it turns into a dangerous play, because that's just the nature of football. They weren't trying to target anybody. They're just making a play, and things happen like they do in football, and all of a sudden you're out of a game. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. And now you've kind of put it to where, like I said, if it happens late in the fourth quarter, then you're okay, last play of the game, then you're not even going to serve a suspension. Okay, well, then why would you serve a suspension in the first half if you did it? If it's not bad enough to serve a suspension at the end of the game, then why is it bad enough to have to serve a suspension for a half in the first half?
Okay, let me play devil's advocate, though. Can you not get thrown out of a basketball game?
Sure.
And then you would not get suspended for the next game. Like, you could get two technicals and be thrown out in the first quarter.
I get it.
Or you could get two technicals and be thrown out with 1 minute to go.
Sure.
So, I mean, it mimics that. Now, I agree with your overall premise, to be fair. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
I don't want a first offender suspended or missing
for
time
anything.
at all. I want it to be
15-yard penalty.
A unsportsmanlike personal foul, to where if it occurs a second time, that's when you
Then
get
you're
it.
out. That's where the tiering needs to
and
come
I've said that for years. So
Yes.
I agree with the overall sentiment. I guess I'm just showing, or I guess trying to portray the opposite side of it, where it's like, okay, well, they still feel, we don't agree with it, but they still feel it is a very offensive foul. Okay, it should be a very penalizing foul. Therefore, they're treating it, again, like you would technical foul. A technical fouls in basketball, or in baseball, you throw someone out of the game. I could throw someone out in the first inning, or I could throw someone out in the ninth, but if there's no suspension tied to the next game, then that seems like the player out of the first inning, missing a lot more time. So they are viewing it in that context. I think it's fair to go along the lines that you were saying, though, that, again, the first defense. And this is why you asked John.
I specifically asked him about
You
this.
asked him, and again, they want to see the results of this first, because their point of view is that we might open up the Wild Wild West, and everyone's like, oh, I get a freebie, so I just start targeting heads. And I understand that, too.
I'm in the last minute of the game, and I'm just going to start killing folks out here.
So I do understand they want to see some data on it first. They seem like they took a very aggressive stance to begin with, and now they're slowly trying to just walk and see what else, see if they can give some of it back. But obviously it's a little too slow for our taste. Brooks, what do you think?
I mean, I think that it's you bring in a judgment call into it, and that's the problem. That's the problem with the rule, is it's a judgment call. So, Tom, I get what you're saying, but, it's like, how can you tell intent? I can't go inside of a kid's mind and say this is what he was thinking in this moment. And it's just, I know there's some, and he mentioned indicators. There's some indicators that you look at and everything, but you can't go in and you say this is it. And I think that's why there's the the timing of it. And I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think you bring up the worst case scenario of we're just going to go. They're going to get more aggressive in the second half and everything, and it's not going to be worth the same because it's if you do it again, it's the same penalty. It's not one free shot.
Right.
It's there are standard penalties there. So I don't. It feels like an issue that could arise, but if you play this is what could happen, and I think we play that all the time with what could have happened when this happened.
The thing is that when it comes to the intent, we have seen plays where you've seen a defensive player, make a lick on a guy that everybody sits here because they replay it on ESPN, and we've talked about it on the show. Like a guy put his arms down to his side and launched himself head first into somebody like a missile. And it's like, okay, that is targeting. By the lay of the law, that is targeting. And to me, that should be a suspension. Because whether the intent is there or not, that you have just put yourself and that other player in such a dangerous position. But what we see so many times, and it's not just Auburn, it has happened to Auburn, but you see it all over everywhere, that just a general play happens, and football's a dangerous game. It's a contact game. And when you have a defensive player go low and the offensive player goes low with him and their heads hit each other, okay, you shouldn't be suspended for that. Whether you think intent, no intent, that's just a football play, and we keep seeing that get called for targeting. And I don't agree with that, especially if there's suspensions on the line. But I can't. There was a Pitt player that made a play one time that was like, he just launched with his head. He led with his head and launched at a guy with the top of his head. That's targeting. Auburn versus Penn State, when a guy's diving for the pylon and the Auburn guy dives to prevent him from getting into the end zone and they make contact, that should not be targeting. But those are the things that I disagree with that call. I like the fact that they are trying to make some steps to maybe back this thing down a little bit, but they're trying to do some things to go along with the NFL. Well, the NFL doesn't kick the guys out of the game unless it's just something over the top egregious. But they have penalties. They have unnecessary roughness penalties. It's 15-yard penalty, but the guy's not out of the game. That's more where college needs to go, not kicking dudes out.
All right, so we need to play this Chase Daniel interview here, and we'll play that. We'll go to break, and we'll come straight back into the Alex Golesh press conference from earlier today. So first up, though, the Chase Daniel interview from yesterday. Welcome back to Sports Call here on Tiger 95.9. We are on Radio Row here. It's SEC Media Days 2026. Ryan LeBoy, Tom Peavy with you. And we're now pleased to be joined by the former Missouri quarterback and NFL quarterback Chase Daniel with us today. Chase, the time is greatly appreciated. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing very well. It's good to be with you here. So obviously want to pick your brain a little bit about the quarterback play here at Auburn and just the things that we're going to be looking for in the SEC this year. So we'll start with Auburn. You're bringing in Byron Brown from South Florida. Tell me a little bit about what you expect the transition to be from USF, new head coach, but the same one Byron had, and just a new tenure here at Auburn.
Well, look, we did our SEC Nation show live yesterday, and Auburn, to me, when I was preparing for the show, has the most intrigue for a lot of different reasons. And the number one reason you said is because their quarterback coming from South Florida along with the coach. And also, I feel like every playmaker position came as well. So they're going to be able to gel right away. They're going to know the offense. Alex Golesh likes to go really fast. It's a fun offense to watch. You're not having to learn a new offense. The level of play, I think, is going to rise. But you look at Byram's Florida game last year in the swamp. Right now, it's the different. One game is different than a full 9-game SEC schedule, but I think he has a really high ceiling. And look, this Auburn team, obviously losing Cam Coleman is not ideal whatsoever, but I think they're going to surprise some people. Like when I'm going through my notes and we're talking to some people, like to me, and I tweeted something about it. I'm like, dude, this Auburn team has the makings of like the surprise Cinderella that no one's really talking about, of like Vanderbilt of last year.
Yeah. When Byron Brown got here, really first spring practice, the one thing everybody started talking about was throwing motion.
Yeah, he went viral. Yeah. Everyone saw it.
Well, you as a former quarterback, what do you think of the throwing motion? Is it a big deal? Not a big deal? If it is kind of a big deal, how do you get around the motion and things like that.
Look, I don't think you're going to get around the motion. I don't think you're going to just poof overnight, change your motion. That's something that I was taught at an early age. Like, hey, I really don't carry your motion. We want to try and shorten it as much as possible. But like, you are what you are in high school. Like, it's just the worst thing to do is try to change a motion. You got to get used to it, right? It's a little bit. I think it hurts more on quick game because you're trying to. It looks like a little bit long, elongated type release. It is awkward. Make no mistake about it. Like, there's a reason why the clip went viral, right? You'd be lying to say it's not. How do you get around that? I don't think you get around it. It's just the guy who it is, and so don't let it become a distraction. You got to go out there. You got to play ball. You got to distribute the football as a quarterback position.
Auburn's obviously been struggling. Not only with the win-loss record, but just offensively for the last several seasons. What do you make of the expectations, knowing that the quarterback and coach have worked together at USF? There's a bunch of wide receivers coming over from USF, but these are also guys that, again, if you were just looking from a talent perspective, you would say the guys last year are the guys aiming to be first, second, third-round draft picks. So how do you marry all that up into an expectation for the team this year?
Look, I'd rather any day of the week have people who are bought into a certain scheme. Like, people say system quarterback or system. I want a system quarterback because you know how to play the system. The system is what Alec Golish is amazing at. The system is what got him this Auburn job. There's a reason why you hired an offensive head coach, and you guys have not been great. And when you bring familiarity with it, especially in this new age of NIL, it helps ease the early season pains, right? You got to go out there, you got to sweat together, you got to do that. But when the quarterback and receivers already know each other, and then you just come to Auburn and the OC and the quarterback, all these people know each other, the head coach, it just makes it where you're not starting at football 101, you're starting at football 202 or 303, and you can get caught up. I mean, let's be honest with you. Like, we had a tempo at the University of Missouri called fastball tempo, where we go fast as all get out. And that's not even close to as fast as how Alec Golish goes. And I think that offense will wear down some SEC defenses. That's sort of their special sauce, as you would call it. Obviously, you got to go out there, you got to make some plays and stuff. But there's going to be stuff open just purely for the fact of how fast you go, how you can formate into the boundary, how you can put formations to the field, all this stuff.
You look at the quarterbacks league-wide, and you've got a mix of guys that were at their current schools last year. You're bringing in some guys to new schools. I mean, whether you want to go with your Trinidad Chamblish's or your Sam Levitts, Lenore Sellers, wherever you want to go in the league, where do you feel or how strong do you feel that this quarterback room in the SEC is?
Yeah, I think it's really strong. Like, when you look at Trinidad, you look at Arch, you look at Sellers, you look at Marcel Reed. I mean, there's some other quarterbacks that can take the next step too. It's a strong quarterback league. I really do believe that. Like, to me, I look at it as, like, Arch obviously gets all the fanfare. I really like Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's the best returning starter in terms of talent in the SEC, and what he was able to do last year. What really won me over was his playoff run, right? 3 games, over 300 yards passing, I think 307 average, and 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. And so when you can play your best ball when your best is needed, and you have those playmakers around you, I think he's going to have a special season. And you look at Arch too. Like, Arch has been through the ringer. He's calloused, and he's learned from a lot of mistakes. You look at his last 6 games, 19 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions, right? Sort of starting to understand it, right? It's going to be a big early season push for him. Texas has all the talent in the world. They hit the transfer portal hard. Cam Coleman obviously going over there, and 2 running backs as well, Raleek and Hollywood Smothers. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
Is there a quarterback that's caught your eye that maybe a lot of people aren't talking about that you kind of look at and you're like, that dude's got the stuff?
Well, your guy. Your guy. Like, I mean, I'm just saying it because I'm talking to you guys. I've said it everywhere else. They're like, who gave me your dark horse? I'm like, well, it's got to be Brown. Like, if he can take this next step. I mean, he's a freak athletically. He can run the football really well, and just how he fits into that offense. That's the reason why you guys will be a surprise team if you handle your business up front offensively.
Tell me a little bit about Missouri, Chase, because Eli Drinkwitz, the last 3 seasons, 29 combined wins. And I feel like Missouri is not often talked about in terms of teams that are really doing a quality job in the upper half of the league.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that they are at coming into this year, and what is it going to take for them to get their proper due?
A lot of question marks, right? Like you would say, almost averaging 10 wins a year, and every 3 years, any SEC team should get their due. And I think Eli likes it like that. I don't think he wants to be talked about a lot. I think he wants to sneak up on some people. Last year, obviously, took a little bit of a step back. Since Brady Cook, we haven't had strong quarterback play, just in general, strong, consistent quarterback play. And so when you go out and you get a guy like Austin Simmons, right, to be able to do what he can do, he's going to have to play well, and we're going to have to play well offensively. We're going to have to score a lot of points. So how does that work offensively? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Ahmad Hardy's a big storyline as well. Obviously cleared. Could it take a month? Could it take 2 months? I don't know. But best running back in the country, in my opinion, coming back will definitely help. Got to see how the defense holds up.
He is the former Missouri quarterback Chase Daniel with us today. Chase, we certainly appreciate the time and look forward to your coverage of the league throughout this year.
Thanks, guys.
That is Chase Daniel today on Sports Call.
Sports Call has been on the air since 1995.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Looking for the best credit card rate in town? The rate on Auburn University Credit Union's MasterCard starts at 7.9% APR. That's right, 7.9% APR. For more information or to apply, visit one of their 3 locations or myaucu.org. Annual percentage rate. Auburn University Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender.
High temperatures today will be right around the 90-degree mark. We will see about a 20% coverage area of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Lows will be in the low to mid 70s overnight. Wednesday, much of the same. Highs in the upper 80s, maybe touching 90 at a few places. Again, about a quarter of the area seeing a isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon hours. Rain chances do increase as we end the week, however, as most of the area will start to see some rain by Thursday into Friday. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update. Check out Auburn University Credit Union's 7-month CD special. Get 4.15% APR back on a regular or IRA share certificate or 4.25% back on a 7-month jumbo and IRA share certificate. Visit myaucu.org or one of our local branches to learn more. Annual percentage rate, $2,500 minimum deposit for regular share certificates, $500 minimum deposit for IRA share certificates. Jumbo rate applies to $100,000 plus deposits. Terms and conditions apply. Rates subject to change. Visit myaucu.org/rates for current information.
Whether it's enjoying a night in with good friends and close family or having some fun in the great outdoors, don't forget to grab an ice cold Coca-Cola from one of your 17 local TK's convenience stores. Every sip of an ice cold refreshing Coke helps make whatever you are doing memorable. With a variety of options to choose from, TK's has a Coke for every occasion. So don't forget to stop by any one of your local 17 TK stores today and pick up an ice cold Coca-Cola.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
Hi, this is Melinda from Life South. Did you know that Life South is your community blood center? Did you know that when you donate with Life South, your donation stays right here at home? Every 2 to 3 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood. You can make a difference this year and do something amazing. You could save the life of a friend, a family member, or even a coworker. To find out more about how you can host a blood drive or donate with Life South, visit our website, www.lifesouth.org. Do something amazing. Donate with Life South Community Blood Centers today.
This is former Auburn football player Danny Skutak, and you are listening to the Abby Award-winning Sports Call Auburn.
Golis is here. He's going to go straight to questions. We'll start here on the second row in the aisle.
Coach Golis, Michael Gittins, Auburn War Report. A lot of questions about how your offense is going to translate from USF to Auburn. How has the implementation of your system gone so far this offseason, and how ready do you feel like you guys are for camp to start with maybe some higher level offensive concepts?
Yeah, Mike, I think offensive football is unique in the sense that you better be able to adjust, and you better be able to continue to grow and evolve. That's one thing that as we've kind of gone through the evolution of this offense, we've done a really good job of being able to adjust to what we're getting. So the fact that our quarterback has been in it, and we inherited him as an 18-year-old, and now he's a 22-year-old, has played a ton of football, certainly helps. The center being in the system and starting a bunch of games certainly helps. But you can only go as far as everybody's on the same page. And so even though there's some guys in that room that have been in it, I think the core foundation is going to continue to be the same, but we've got to evolve and change. We're healthy right now. We're 2 weeks out from camp as of today, but we're healthy, which is huge for us leaving spring because we weren't completely healthy in the spring. So I think we're going to evolve and grow here through fall camp. I think the foundation is in. The guys have got a really good grasp. It's helped that just about every room has at least a guy in it that's been in it and knows the expectations and the standards. But we've got to continue to grow and evolve. We've got 15 practices where we'll work on us, and then we'll get going on Baylor.
Second row on the aisle, then pass it back, please.
Alex, hey, Joe Goodman, AL.com. What, if anything, did you take away from Indiana's quick run to success, just from afar as a coach, kind of maybe admiring that? And do you think Indiana's model can be repeated in the SEC?
Yeah, Joe, when you say their model, what do you mean by that?
Winning a national title pretty fast.
Oh, man, yeah, that would be awesome. I thought you were leaning more on the transfers or maybe the age piece. I think the biggest thing you take away, and I don't know Coach Signetti, certainly admire what he's done, and not just at Indiana, but at JMU and Elon before that. Like, the guy wins football games. Not being in there is hard to say, man, this is what their model is, but where I think as you look at it from the outside looking in, the biggest piece of it is the age and the veteranness of what that team has been the last 2 years, and specifically the age up front. I think we've all studied it because you want to understand exactly how that's happened. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew just because I'm not in there, but the age up front is what stuck out to me. Just how many games started on the O-line and the D-line would be the two biggest pieces. Certainly when you have a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, that helps. But the age piece, the experience, I think that's one thing that there's just such a fine line, especially with high school recruiting and the portal. When you look at it, is this balance of having veterans. It's one thing to have high-end young players, but football is a game where the physical maturity, as well as obviously just the experience in game, and in a league like this, I mean, over I want to say 87% of games are one-score games. Like, the talent level across the board at the top is relatively even, and so the detail, the margins, the situational football, third down, tight zone, 2-minute, 4-minute, these situations that end up winning football games, experience is king. And I think if I get anything from, I think what you're asking, I'm not 100% sure, but experience would be the biggest thing, and age, physically and mentally, maturity is what you get out of that to me.
Third row on the aisle, please.
Jerry with their AO.com. Coach, kind of looking at the commitments you guys have in a 2027 class, is there kind of a cap on a number of guys you want to bring in? And if so, how many more guys do you guys plan on bringing in?
Yeah, we've had to make up a lot of ground in recruiting. That was such a huge point of emphasis from the moment I got there. I told our staff right away, man, we're a year behind. And it certainly helped to be in this region, to where you have a lot of contacts, but we had to make up a lot of ground. I give our staff a lot of credit, our recruiting staff, our scouting staff, our personnel staff, with the work, and then certainly our coaches with the work they've done to make up ground. I don't know if there's truly a number. The whole roster management part right now is so, maybe the word would be crazy, simply because there's going to be a handful of guys that get a fifth year that we didn't know had a fifth year, whether they take the fifth year or not. And so the number's so in flux. And I don't know that we would ever turn down a really, really good player, but I really like where we're at in terms of we filled every need we had. And we're really, really excited. And you're sitting the ground we were able to make up and sit in the top 10 class in the country right now. Signing days in December, so we got to go have success on the field to be able to validate what we've been selling and preaching. But I'm really excited with where we are. We're not going to turn down a good player, though.
Fourth row, left side.
Hey, Coach, Brett Pritchard, Auburn Blitz. You said multiple times during spring that you wanted to be a hard-nosed, physical team that runs the football. Talk about the offensive line and where they were at the beginning of the spring, and then how they progressed through the end of spring practice.
Yeah, Brent, I think there was probably some messaging early in spring that maybe was intentional in some ways to make sure that our guys understood how important that position is. That's a group for us where you talk about starting from scratch. We ultimately started from scratch, and it's a group, when you're playing our defense in spring, one, uber talented up front. Two, schematically, you're seeing from day one just about every single thing you could ever imagine. And so it's probably not just incredible for building confidence, but it certainly makes you work through a lot of things. And I give that group a lot of credit, and Tyler Hudanik and that staff offensively, like those guys have worked extremely hard, maybe as hard as any group on our team, at being in there extra, coming together extra. That group has done community service every week together to try to come together. Man, I would tell you right now, as long as we can stay healthy through camp, I'm really confident in that bunch. We got Stanton Ramil, who missed spring, which is a huge part of what we need. We've got some really talented young guys. Man, like Wilson Zaire is as talented of a guy that worked himself into the rotation through spring, missed the latter part of spring with an ankle. He's healthy, and we're really excited about, like, Parker Pritchard. Like, what can he do as a freshman for us? He's a young man that came on as spring went. But that older group, building depth in there with guys like Jacob Strand and Jack Layer, and truly that first group, man, like that guard spot's still up for the grabbing, and those guys have worked really hard to compete to figure it out. I'm going into spring with a really optimistic approach to that group, and simply because of the way that not only they've worked, but the way they've come together. Like, it probably doesn't get talked about enough how important it is that those five dudes are on the same page. And I give Cole Best a ton of credit because he's worked extremely hard to bring that group together. But where it was early in spring, where I was ready to pull my hair out, I think I asked for prayers with our local media. Some of those prayers have been answered, but we've still got a long way to go in terms of the work that needs to go in, but I feel really good going into fall camp.
Right side, second row.
Staying with the offensive line, Daryl Dapprich, Locked on Auburn. Staying with the offensive line, there seemed to be the philosophy the last couple of years that Auburn went out and patchworked the offensive line with a lot of transfer portal players. I know you can't specifically talk about this upcoming recruiting class, but it's offensive line heavy. Does that signify a shift in philosophy that maybe in the future you want guys that stay in the system a couple years from high school and then transition into a starting role?
Yeah, Daryl, patchwork would be a good word. We walked into a situation where senior heavy lost the leader of that group, and Connor Liu, who was I never got to coach, kind of wish I did, but was the heartbeat of that O-line, and hopefully he's going to have an incredible career with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, there was just a bunch to replace. I feel really fortunate we were able to keep 3 really talented young guys, and then the 2 guys we were able to sign in December I'm extremely excited about. And that gives us a young group with Ty and that group, like a young group to build on. I think offensive line is one of those positions that is in year 2, 3, specifically 4 in the same system, in the same strength program, with the same offensive line coach. That maybe more than, not maybe, for sure more than any other position, what you get as a reward in year 2, 3, specifically 4, is a group that can work in unison, that speak in the same language, on top of being physically and mentally really mature. There's nothing like it, which is why the emphasis on the high school recruiting, with bringing in not just a talented group, but a group with the right mindset, a group that's coming in and being recruited on the foundation of Auburn football. We're going to run the piss out of the ball. We're going to protect the quarterback. We're going to be the toughest and most violent group on the field. Like every one of those guys that we sat down with, they all have the same traits. They're tough. They're mentally and physically tough, but they also are guys that are coming in with that understanding. Like you win football games in the Southeastern Conference in the trenches, and there's no hiding that. And to be able to build it with young guys that, whether they play as freshmen or not, that you can keep in the same program, the same strength staff, the same offensive line coach, like that is priceless. And so you got to do what you got to do, especially early, in terms of putting a group out there that you think can give you success. But ultimately, you want to be able to go into year 3 and 4 and 5, which is what this recruiting class is for, and starting with the offensive and defensive lines, guys that can be veterans. We talked about earlier, like what's the key to success? It's age up front, it's experience up front.
2 questions right here on the right side, 3rd row.
Justin Ferguson, Auburn Observer. Alex, you said earlier you've spent several years with Byram at this point. From the time you guys got here to Auburn to now, where do you think you've seen him grow the most as a quarterback, on the field? I know you've talked about his leadership, but as a guy on the field, where have you seen him kind of progress the most since the time y'all got to Auburn?
Yeah, Justin, you're seeing a guy that is really, really confident. Obviously you get to a new place, you get to a new league, and like I said, what you see from our defense, it's hard to explain, but you're seeing every single package you could ever imagine. And for a majority of that defense, they're in year 3, and so they're on level 600, and we're offensively on, especially early in spring, on level 100. And so you're trying to build confidence in guys, but at the same time, you're looking at a guy in Byram that's trying to figure it out. The speed of the game is really, really fast. For him, it's a bunch of new guys around him. And so what I've seen from him is a level of confidence as spring went, then we got into May, then we got into June, and now as you're looking at OTAs through the summer, a young man that's back to being really, really confident. And yes, the leadership piece is huge, but confident as a thrower, confident in the guys around him. We still have 2 weeks of OTAs. The guys are on the field right now that are big for us going into fall camp. But you're starting to see Byram really confident in the throw game, really confident in the run game. But I think more than anything, confident in the guys around him. Now he knows where the break point is for certain routes. He now knows how runs are going to hit a little bit uniquely different with this offensive line. This tight end group is finally healthy, which is huge for us. I can't explain how big it is to have a healthy tight end room that's got depth in it now. And so you're seeing a really, really confident version of Byram.
Final question, back row, left side.
Coach, Steve Moulton, 97.7 ESPN The Zone in Huntsville. If I could sneak into one, I know this is a little bit of a homecoming. You have a best steakhouse recommendation for us here in Tampa?
Yeah, Steve, I would tell you Burns is unmatched. It's a really unique dining experience. But we ended up last night, per really Byram, we went to Meat Market. We had 2 donor events here, and then it was Byram's call on the Meat Market, and boy, did that not disappoint. So there's some really, really good steak spots here, but I would throw Burns a shout out because that's Bear's favorite, my son's favorite, and then Meat Market treated us really well last night.
Well, what is your biggest question on your two deep specifically heading into fall camp, Coach?
Yeah, I think the true depth on this offensive line, how it shakes out, would be one. I think the rotation at running back, and really who is the 1, 2, 3. We're going to need, I think, 4 guys at the end of the day in that room, and what the order of that will be really interesting. That room that room has gotten really close as they've competed. And we'll put pads on in August and really shake it out. But like a guy like Omar Mapson, who really came on in the spring, like he earned time. Will he continue to earn time? Jeremiah has totally changed his body. Like that room will be interesting to see how it shakes out. That receiver room, we got one senior in that room, and it's a really young group. Can those young guys take a giant step? We need them to. And then defensively, that back end, there's a bunch of depth between those 5 spots. How does that really shake out? There's some guys with position flexibility. How does that truly shake out? Who are the best 5? And then how is that rotation? Because I think we're going to need it. That linebacker room, we're healthy now. Like DeMarcus Riddick is a healthy DeMarcus Riddick. So how does he fit in there? Bryce Dees has had maybe the best summer of anybody defensively. How does Bryce fit in there? And so that piece, and then the rotation up front, we got a bunch of new guys, a bunch of guys that have played, but a bunch of new guys on that defensive front. How does that rotation shake out? And I know I gave you a bunch of positions there, but there's a bunch of rotational questions. There's still some quote unquote starting jobs up for grabs. But as you get into fall camp, like as we get to really through 11, 12 practices, that rotation's got to get set. We got 15 practices before we get going to Baylor, and we need to get a relative rotation set. And so I would tell you those, like in that order, is what I'm really interested in.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. War Eagle.
May we have your attention, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
We're Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show.
Hi, my name is
Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
TK's convenience stores have a brand new look. That's right. Look for the red, white, and blue. It's Arco, American-owned top-tier gasoline, now at select TK's locations. Need great gas at a great price? TK's and Arco have you covered with the best price gas in town. American-made fuel for you and your family. So roll into your neighborhood TK's today, where TK's and Arco are as American as apple pie.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Pricing coverage match limited by state law.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Feeling thirsty? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea is made with thirst-quenching real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Fun to drink poolside, at the lake, or even play in the back nine. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is Philip Lally, former Auburn Tigers football assistant coach for the 2010 National Championship team, and you are listening to Sports Call.
Last couple minutes of Sports Call here on this Tuesday. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Brian Lavoie, Brooks Childress, and Tom Peavy with you here today live from Digital Drive. It is SEC Media Days 2026. Again, our thanks to the many guests we've had today. You just heard from Alex Golish in his press conference earlier today. Before that, you heard from Chase Daniel. That one was recorded yesterday, and that's going to continually be the theme because we did about 5 interviews today that did not air in today's program. So that is only going to increase as we go throughout the week. But, guys, it's been really busy so far, but, man, I think we're having a good time. And I also keep saying it, too. You do learn a few things once you do it a few times. And I remember the first year or two we did it, we didn't know what to expect, and we had no idea how it would go in terms of how many interviews. And now it's just like we want to go here, we want to go there, we want to go everywhere.
Sure.
And we really appreciate everyone for taking the time, and that's why we love this event so much. We get to talk to so many great people.
Yeah, it is fun. And you talk about being halfway, and, it's kind of one of those things. This is such a grind, but it's an enjoyable grind. And, we get done with these few days here, we all get back to Auburn, and then it's kind of back to the norm. And you're like, oh, man, I kind of miss Tampa. Yeah. And,
that's me most of the year, though.
Well, last year's like, I never thought I'd say I would miss Atlanta, but I kind of miss Atlanta. It's fun. It
helps they feed you.
It does help. It's a grind, but it's a fun grind. And getting to see all these folks, all the media folks that, that we all are friends with and have become friends with through the years, it's awesome. And it's just really an enjoyable thing, but it is tiring. I mean, we've all just been sitting here on the full struggle bus trying to keep our wits about us, trying not to just openly yawn with the cameras on us if we can help it. But it's good stuff, man, and I'm ready for another couple of days of it.
Yeah, I will openly admit, not used to the 6 a.m. wake-up time.
No.
And
when your body says it's 5 a.m. because we come from the Central Time Zone,
right.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for me to go to bed at 6 a.m.
Right.
And now I'm having to wake up about 6 or 7 a.m.
Not what the body clock is used to, that's for sure. One more quick time. Want to thank all of our sponsors who continue to support us this week, including Miller Lite, United Auto Collision, Auburn Repro Graphics, Fairway Auto Brokers, and Waldo's Chicken and Beer. That will do it for this Tuesday edition of the program. Brooks Childress, thank you for being here today, sir. We will see you again later this week.
I'll be here.
And Tom Peavy, thank you for being here, sir. We'll see you again tomorrow.
I'll be here.
That does it for us here on this Tuesday. Another shout out to Connor Knight back in our Auburn Bank studios. And a big thank you to John McDade, Zach Blackerby, Ryan Bartow. We had Champ Anthony and Chase Daniel. We appreciate all those guys for joining the program today, and we appreciate all of you that tuned in and called in. For Brooks Childress and Tom Peavy, my name is Ryan Lavoie. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Good friends, great conversation.